and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours!
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares, partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Boom.
Bro, that gets me fired up every time. GMCG. Hope everyone's doing well. Wonderful Friday here. Dude, we got a great show. Got a great show today. Got a couple great guests coming on here in a little bit. We have Spawn. We have the Spawn team coming on. They'll give us the lowdown on AI agents, agentic trading, the future of that space, that sector, and how they see that that growing in the future and how they'll be a part of it. We have Deployer, one of the pretty much obvious plays on printer in the printer eco. Deployer, they'll be coming on as well. So we'll talk to them a little bit about how they see the printer ecosystem evolving over time. And there's a little bit of lore there as well. There's a little bit of lore as far as the background and how Deployer became how Deployer came to be. So interested to dig into that. Great show we have for you guys here. So our first interview will be coming up in about 15-20 minutes or so. In the meantime, we got some nice updates for you guys. Got some stuff that we can run through here. First and foremost, though, Dom, the homie, the Brody, what's the latest and the greatest, my guy?
Not much. You weren't on yesterday when we covered the Ben Pasternak situation.
Dude.
I mean, people want to know your thoughts, dude. Simply put.
I mean, look, I don't. It's a serious. Those things are serious things, right? Like I wanna treat that with this. Shout out Evelyn. Hope you're doing well.
Free Evelyn.
But can I just laugh after that? After that's all said, can I now laugh? Can I now kind of we've been saying that this guy is a grifting, scamming piece of trash for a long time because of how everything has played out. And like
Tell him.
I've you guys have heard me on this show before. Don't make bad money. Don't make dirty money. It will come, like, it's not good. It will come back to you in ways that you might not understand or foresee. So he made money off the backs of scamming tons of people out of hundreds of millions of dollars, and I stand on that. You created ICM, whether it be on accident or not, and you totally decided to pivot away and not support the very people who put you in the position that you were in to be successful. So, have a great time in jail.
Ooh, no love, man. No love.
None. And
Good.
and you guys know me. I'm the guy that was like, no, guys, we shouldn't, Paragon rugged. They were forced to, I'm the guy that tries to see the brighter side of things. I try to, give the benefit of the doubt where I can. But this time, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like I just that's you hit women, bro. Like you're a piece of garbage, man. You're a piece of garbage.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
funny, bro. It's just wild. Like I don't know I don't know the type of guy that I picture. Well, I do. I know a couple types of people I picture when you think about like abusing women. Pasternak would not have fit in that box, to be honest.
Nope.
So I was a little shocked to see that, but like,
Can I say this though? Can I say one of my takeaways from that was watch MCG, bro. When someone ducks coming on MCG, when someone you get a really good idea of like what a founder is, what they're about, their intentions, their passion for what they're building, etc. Because y'all know we come with the hard hitting questions. We don't waffle on questions. We make sure that we really get into the nitty gritty with these founders. And the fact that he was ducking coming on MCG for so long, that should have been the biggest red flag. You're passionate about something, you're building something, you want to tell the world, and you have a platform to do that, you're gonna like jump at the chance. This guy was ducking the smoke.
It all comes back to MCG, baby. Come on.
Watch the show. I'm not even trying to shill MCG right now. I'm just saying it's one of the best places to source alpha. And by traders for traders. But anywho, that's my take on the whole Ben Pasternak thing. I mean, Evelyn Ha, hope you're doing well. I saw people even hitting her DMs.
Don't need to get caught
like
on
some trying to slide, like they were trying to slide a little bit.
When you see people, you mean Avi Patel?
I don't know. I didn't.
Surely.
That's crazy.
Dude.
No, I didn't see.
Okay. All right, let me find something for you.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, Avi slid.
I just saw a screenshot of the DM. I just saw a screenshot of the DM, and like someone was like, really trying to slide heavy on the. I mean, she's pretty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. You get it, dude. There's a clip I saw like where he was like, they were like, man, the red flags were there. Oh, this is the DM. This is the DM. If you need someone to talk to, please let me know. That's crazy.
Justin, Polymarket. Justin, believe that founder Ben Pasternak arrested for strangulation and criminal assault. Look at the chill. Damn, boy, you got motion on it too, boy. Not like Avi though.
Nah, not like Avi though.
Jeez,
Avi.
So sorry for what happened with Ben. It's hilarious. All right, nonetheless, man, we don't need to get caught up in the.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, we had to cover that real quick, but so here's the outline of the show today. We're gonna go through some macro stuff real quick, maybe even throw in a little bit of news there. We have about 15 minutes till our first interview. We have another interview coming up at 1:30. So between the first and the second interview, we'll also cover some news as well. After our last interview, we got a little bit of Onchain Alpha for you, a little bit of and a little bit of stuff to cover. So let's get straight into it, man. We're on the clock here, so let's dive in. Let's open up some charts. Let me bring my chart up for you guys. Let's look at Bitcoin real quick. So here we go. So you guys know me, right? Like looking at the 2 week time frame, this is what I discussed with you guys on Wednesday. We are running into some resistance here. Starting with the 2 week fair value gap, we have a bearish breaker, right? This was a bullish OB right here until it broke. Oops, until it broke, and it's now a bearish breaker. So we have that. We also have the 80K level there. So that's also going to act as resistance. That was a key level when we broke down to that price level back in November. So it is natural that we test that level. But there was, for some reason, on CoinGlass, um, I can't seem to get the liquidity heat map on the on CoinGlass. I wanted to actually show you guys that because that gives us a really good idea of kind of where some key levels are. So let me just pull this up for you guys. Here it is. So as you can see, like on this liquidity heat map, there's a lot of liquidations here resting at just under 80K. So 79K up until 79,885. So got some key levels there, but if we revisit the Bitcoin chart, that again coincides. There's confluence, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of things pointing to the fact that this 80K level, there's a lot of resistance there. So just something to be aware of. We want to make sure that we take note of that as we dial it in and we go into lower time frames here. Um, we see that we have the weekly SFP. I believe was this on the 2 week as well? No, the 2 week will close in a couple days. So we'll see what the 2 week closes. But here we see at 76K, there was a weekly close before. So we have a couple of days until this next SFP close, this next candle closes, but we obviously the SFP is right here. So that already was locked in. And so we just have to wait to see how this weekly candle closes. And obviously we'll see the same thing on the 2 day. Now the 2 day, on the 2 day, the SFP is actually invalidated. But higher time frame is higher confidence. So I'm gonna wait to see what the weekly does. But again, running into resistance here on Bitcoin. Looking at Ethereum, same thing.
Umbalino, GM.
Top Fumbler, GM brother, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Another
how you been?
MCG regular out here. Appreciate
How you
you.
doing? Let me know what you're trading, guys. I feel like Fumbler. I don't know what you've been trading, if you've been trading these days. So curious. Sorry, chill.
Yeah,
Take
let us
it away.
know. No, you're good. Yeah, let us know. Let us know. A few things of note here on Bitcoin before we actually get into this ETH chart. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. Let's stay high time frame and go to the 2 week. If you notice here, Bitcoin has been building up these lows. Bitcoin has been building up these lows here on Bitcoin. If we go to like the daily, we see some lows getting built up. Here, here, right here, and obviously we have this big green area that I've marked out for a while. So we have some lows being built up, some liquidity that we can grab at, and so it's just something to keep in mind. You guys know that we've been following Killer XBT and his like analysis on the market. So just this last piece on Bitcoin here, he basically kind of like uses this chart to show that it's taken 426 days, back in 2013 to form a bottom. And he's basically saying that, as time has gone on, it's kind of taking, at least a year or so. In 2017, it was 365 days, about a year. 2021, same thing. 365 days. So his thought process is we've only formed a bottom here and we're only 123 days in. Is this really all it is? Like, it's hard to believe that after years of taking a long time to grind out a bottom, it's only going to take us a couple months to do it. And then we just go back to full bull. So, I'm also, again, with that confluence of having a lot of resistance ahead of us and looking at the numbers and acknowledging that, hey, like this usually takes a longer time. It just makes sense that we would have some sort of pullback The homie DOD, decentralized or die. GM, brother.
Go,
Good to see you
go.
on stream here, bro. Yeah, yeah. Truly, truly goated. You
Yeah,
guys should
chill.
give decentralized or die a follow.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, bro. These bottoms take time. I don't think people realize that. Even when we had the COVID bottom, we were sitting sideways for a little while before we really started accelerating to the upside. So bottoms take time. I'm not convinced that we are gonna just V-shape reversal. The only thing that's convincing me, or somewhat convincing me, that we could just reverse from here is just the amount of front running we do every single cycle, right? I mean, every single cycle we're getting a month
Yep.
and month earlier from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. For example, it was December 1 month, then November, right? And then so on and so forth, October. And then, same thing coincides with the bottom. So that's the only thing. Just markets forward looking, it might be trying to front run even more so. But I agree with you. It takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. So we'll see. We'll see how those things pan out. But for now, kind of just being cautious at these levels. Again, I'm still exposed to the market. I'm still trading on within the printer ecosystem, still looking for those opportunities. But I'm still not losing sight of where we are in the stream of time, right? So just something to be aware of here. And this is another metric, numbers to look at. We're roughly 212 days into the bear market. Once BTC moves beyond 200 days from the cycle top, Q2 and Q3 have tended to bring additional downside. So as you can see here, back in 2017, after 212 days, downside. 212 days back in the first was 2013 and 2014, actually. The second was 2017, 2018, and the third was 2021, 2022. Right after 212 days, even if we were pumping into that 212-day mark, we still saw some downside afterward. So something, again, more confluence to say we're running into resistance. These are key areas. We want to be very, very careful about where we are. So that's my look here on the macro side for Bitcoin. Got some interesting things though on Ethereum and Solana. It makes me bullish, but again, we need to be cautious, but it's more bullish than anything else. On Ethereum, we've taken note a few weeks ago of the multi-year lows. ETH reserves on exchanges are at multi-year lows, meaning there's not enough ETH supply out there to buy on centralized exchanges. We see ETH here just on the technical level, on a high level, on the 2-week. We're running into resistance here at the 2-week FEG, and we've been respecting that here so far. And let me pull this down a little bit, actually. Yeah, we've been respecting this so far for quite some time, but here is some bullish confluence. So again, we're running into multi-year lows as far as on-chain reserve, as far as centralized exchange reserves go, but we're also running into highs as far as accumulation on ETH. As you can see here, the total balance of on accumulation addresses has continued to go parabolic. Shout out CW here who points this out. And again, just additional things to understand that, yes, we need to be careful here, but honestly, some of these altcoin setups look a little bit more interesting than Bitcoin. These might be in key areas. Crypto Jones, interesting project on printer launch yesterday, POB 500, basically an ETF for staking in printer eco. Check it out. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Crypto
Proof
Jones,
of
we'll check
belief
that out.
500. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. So that's ETH. Last thing that's really interesting on Solana, we've covered this multiple times, but weekly SFP, that's the 2-week SFP that has played out here, and the drawdown to a key level at the 0.786 on Solana. But as we start to go into lower time frames, we start to kind of see exactly where we are right now on the 2-day. Obviously, we have this multi-month drawdown, right? All this multi-month drawdown that we've been in. We've technically broken out of it, and I've said the same thing that I'll say that I've said for Met. Breaking out, and not aggressively breaking out, but breaking out sideways. Like, yeah, we haven't gone like up this way, but breaking out sideways is still one step closer to an uptrend. So I will say that again, Some of these alts are looking a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin. But even here, we see that Solana is running into a 2-day FVG, fair value gap that it's respected for quite some time. And then on the 3-day, we actually see this SFP here holding on the 3-day. So just interesting things happening, a lot of things running into resistance, but I say that with a little bit of caution because again, some of these alts are looking a lot better than Bitcoin.
Yeah, you know, let me
real quick.
finish your thought. Yeah.
Almost 90% of Sol circulating supply is locked up. I don't know if you guys caught this. Stake supply is at about 68%. ETFs have accumulated about almost 1 to 2%, like almost 2%. Solana Foundation, they also hold 8% almost. The DATs still have about 3%. So roughly 87% of circulating supply, and this was according to Grok as well. I did a little bit of digging into all of this, but almost 90% of circulating supply is effectively off of the open market due to staking cooldowns, institutional holdings, locked accounts, and I don't think anyone realizes this. And so with ETH and Solana, you have this supply shock scenario that is potentially on the horizon here. So not really sure what that means for price, but that's why I think we're at a very interesting time right now. And so it's very, we just want to watch the price action because these setups are attractive. But my bad, Dom, go ahead.
No, I have not seen that. So it's an interesting stat. If you go back to the Solana chart for me, I'll just like point something out because I would agree the Solana chart doesn't look great. Like it doesn't look really good. There's not a lot of strength. But if you actually zoom out and you look at this compared to the other characteristics of some of the other sideways movements, there has been a change of character. Even just looking back in the downtrend for order flow here, it's like you go down, you find a base, and you go down again. This base is more drawn out and compressed than the previous one. And so not that necessarily means we bottomed out or we're going up from here, but you can see there's a materialistic change of character here, right? So participants are acting different at these levels. The obvious one is there's less supply coming into the market every time we pump. It's not violently selling off. And I think demand here is like either accumulating or gauging interest. So one thing you want to note on all these pairs, when you have this official change of character, right? The market starts acting differently, different characteristics to the previous trend, right? Whether it's bullish or bearish, that's when you need to start evaluating, potential outcomes. So I like to see that we're changing character here in this range, whether it's sideways or whatever it does in the next couple weeks. But, something to note is definitely the characteristics of the market have changed here for Solana. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So so that's Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. We're at 12:45. So we have our first interview coming up here with Vendetta. We'll pull with Vendetta from Deployer. Absolutely great project. You guys know that's one of my top projects. I've said it's an obvious bet because it's one of the top utility projects on Printer. So you guys know I've been watching this for a while, actually really interested to kind of hear a little bit of the lore behind Deployer, how this project came to be. So let's go ahead and bring Vendetta up and let's get the background and the lowdown on what they're doing over there at Deployer.
Without further ado, Mr. Vendetta, welcome to the show.
Hi guys.
Hey, well, good to have you, Vendetta. So we've noticed that you guys are coming out pretty strong here on the ecosystem on Printer. I've took notice of you guys pretty much from not day one, but it was right after the account got suspended. And I know it's been a crazy roller coaster of a week for you guys, with everything going on. So definitely want to just get the full story of, how things are going since your launch, how things look, going into the future. But before we get into Deployer, get into digging into the project, let's get a little bit of background here, Vendetta. I saw you put out a story a little bit about how, this project came to be. So maybe we start there with your background and go from there.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Vendetta. I'm the founder of Deployer. Been in the trenches for a long time, actually. I've seen every cycle. every meta, every scam. Well, you know the story of how I met Printer because I shared it on Twitter. But basically, it was very random. I was trying to launch Monica on Monad a few months ago, and Omnitrix, who works for Printer, sent me a message asking me to launch the agent on Printer instead. And I accepted because it was an Onchain launchpad. Bro, that's very bullish, And Printer at the time had like 50 people using the launchpad. They had like 30K volume daily, which is nothing compared to now. But I saw potential, And sometimes you have to do that in life, take risks, identify an opportunity and just go for it. And then I participated in their meme coin competition where I won 50K and used the money to improve the agent. And then right before V2 launch, Fed proposed to transform Monica into a native Printer AI agent, so Printer deployer, basically. And well, the rest, it's, well, here we are today.
So you say you were a trencher on Solana. How long have you been in crypto?
I started in 2016, and then I've been trading on like Caspa as well, and recently I was trading on Monad.
Got you. Wow. Okay. So
can I ask a quick question about this?
Yeah, go for it.
Because you don't hear people say they're trading on Caspa and Monad pretty often.
Yeah.
Like what the heck brought you to those ecosystems?
But like it was very weird. Like on Caspa, it was like there wasn't even smart contracts. It wasn't a thing on Caspa. So all we had was a trading bot on Telegram, and every meme coin we bought, it was through this bot on Telegram. And imagine you have like 10,000 tokens, meme coins, and only a Telegram bot. And one wallet, on Telegram.
It's rough.
And everything goes through that.
So wait, there's no terminals either? There's
Now, I don't know because I left right when they launched the smart contracts. But now I think there are right now, yeah.
Okay, so you were hanging out in Monad, hanging out in some of these in the Caspa ecosystem, came over to Solana mainly because Fed reached out to you about Printer, or?
I've been in Solana since a long time, but just recently I've been, exploring other blockchains like Caspa, Monad recently, just to see what's going on there.
Got you. Yeah, I just wanted the lore on that because, I really have not talked to a single person that's traded on Caspa or Monad in like recent times. Monad a little bit, but
yeah, Monad is like, I don't know. I love Monad, because like the founders are doing everything they can to make Monad succeed. Like even the top meme coin right now on Monad is at 1 million. And like 50 or 60% of the supply is held by Monad's CEO, bro, and other rich employees that work at Monad. And it's being shilled by thousands on FOMO and Twitter daily, So keep an eye on that because for me, it's like a low risk, smart investment. And they even paid MetaMask, so transactions are free, so everyone can use Monad. That's very bullish,
I've been noticing a little. We've been tracking Monad, like the price action on Monad for a little bit, and I've noticed that it has been pretty good lately. But I haven't really gotten the bull case on Monad. Like I haven't really been pilled on exactly what's the lore, what's why should someone trade, but. Real quick, maybe before we go into deploy, I know you're mainly here for the deployer segment, so I want to get to that. But real quick, this is really interesting. What's the bull case for Monad?
Obviously, like Monad can, let's see, the tech. So on Monad, you can do 10,000 transactions per second, and it's like instant. Like a few months ago, I did a batch transfer to like I don't know how many wallets. It was like 50,000. I did an airdrop and it was like instant, bro. Every wallet got the token in 2 seconds. All the wallets. But that's amazing. You do that on Ethereum, like it will take you hours. So that's like entirely different on Monad. And even the community is like they're very close to each other. If you have an issue, you go on Discord, it's solved. They will help you. The ecosystem will help you. The team is there, nonstop building, shipping. Now they are focusing a lot on AI agents, and they are paying builders. They are holding these competitions, hackathons as well. Like every month they have a new hackathon, and they are paying builders to build on Monad. And if you have an issue with something, you go on Discord, you say, okay, I'm having an issue with this. They will respond to you. I mean, it's like one of the best teams on crypto right now. It's the Monad team. They are the best. And even the CEO, because I was when I was part of the meme coin competition on Printer, when I participated in February, like the CEO invested like 4,000 on my meme coin, and he still hasn't sold. And he sent me a lot of messages. It's like he's supporting the community. The CEO and and all the employees in general. So they're doing everything they can for the ecosystem to thrive. But now, they can't do everything because the community should do their part as well. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we got that take from you there. I was really interested to hear a little bit more, and that sounds really interesting. So fast forward a little bit. So we got the lore behind, what brought you to Printer. You're building now. Your agent has now become deployer. You've now launched on Printer. Walk us through, maybe a little bit of what the launch was like. I mean, I feel like you were one of the first launches, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me on that, but just walk us through your last week.
Last week has been like very, very big. I don't know where to start actually, because like when the account got suspended, and then so the account gets suspended, and then I was sending emails everywhere, like to every employee that works on Twitter. I was getting their emails on LinkedIn, searching on Google who works at Twitter. I even sent a message to everyone who works on Twitter. I found their Twitter accounts, XAI employees, Twitter employees. I was sending emails, messages to everyone, and then that's how I got it unsuspended. I got the account suspended, and the price was at 80K when the account was suspended. And everyone was saying, it's over. It's another fun story. It goes to the moon and then it falls to zero. And someone told me, I wish I sold the tokens. And then when the account was unsuspended, a few days later, he told me, because the price went up to all-time high again. And he told me, what saved me from selling, staking, because he staked his tokens for 1 week, and that's what saved him from selling in loss. And now not only he made money from all the fees, from the transaction fees, from the volume, because it went through all-time down from 1 million to 80K, and then from 80K back to all-time high again. So he earned fees, and rewards for that. But he also he didn't lose his bag, so his bag was still there.
Awesome. So you go through this launch. It's chaotic. Your account gets suspended.
Yeah, it's like a true. Yeah, it's like a true story of conviction and proof of belief. That's what belief is, because people staked and believed in something, and when it fell to 80K, they never stopped believing. Some people were there and were like, it will go up, guys. Don't worry, it will go up. And when the account got unsuspended and the price went up again, there you go. Believe people who never stopped believing won at the end.
And what do you think was the main driver for people kind of like holding on? Was it just kind of you building a really good community? Was it just kind of the proof of belief mechanics that really just worked out in your case? Like, what would you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. I think it's a mix of deployer being the first omni-chain AI agent, which is bullish, and it was the staking period as well, because people had already staked their tokens, so they couldn't unstake. That also saved some who were not believing in a project anymore, saved them from selling in loss. but also the fact that it was the first omnichain AI agent is bullish.
So
Absolutely.
the question I want to ask is we've seen mechanisms like this where it's tweet to deploy tokens, right? Believe's whole thesis originally was predicated on, okay, I can just tweet out a token and it deploys automatically for me, frictionless. What was your thesis, I guess, when building something like this out? Had you seen protocols of the past and you were like, okay, I really like how this works, I want to kind of put my own twist on it, or where was your head at in that thinking?
Yeah, I was seeing Banker, which was the main reference, and like Banker was limited to like base basically, and now I say why wouldn't I make a product that works in other blockchains as well? Solana, Ethereum, Monad. Just make an omni-chain agent. That will be bullish. And the plan for deployer is not only to launch tokens in these blockchains, but also we are testing and studying future cross-chain swaps and bridging directly on Twitter. So you don't have to go to a dApp on a website and enter. You do it directly from Twitter.
Interesting. Something about Banker too. Banker and Monad both have very good teams, right? Obviously, Banker's well known for their founder and the work he's done, and he's very innovative. And Monad, you were just telling us about how their team's so great. So clearly, you have a lot of people that you take inspiration from in terms of like their team just being really, really good, top tier. How do you apply that to Deployer in terms of what you're innovating on and how you're treating the community?
Yeah, so what I learned from Monad is basically you have to be there for the community, like nonstop. And I have been, since Deployer launched, I swear I've been like 24 online all the time. I've been on Telegram answering questions. If someone had an issue, I was there. Okay, tell me. And at some point, people they thought I was an AI, bro, because I was online all the time.
How much sleep have you gotten in the past week?
Oh, it was like 3 hours per day or less. Especially when the account got suspended, I was barely sleeping because I was like, sending email. I was trying to find a solution, because the timing was the worst, because we launched first day of V2 and the account got suspended that day. So, I mean, that was the main hype, bro, because launching on first day the hype is maximum. It's at the maximum. So the account got suspended the first day. So I was trying to desperately find a solution for that. So I barely slept.
So question for you on this. So you have this multi-chain, this omni-chain deployment bot. How close is your relationship with the printer team? Like, is this kind of their tweet to deploy, their go-to tweet to deploy solution that they have? Like, how, I'm not sure like what that relationship is like for you guys.
Yeah, so the story was, because I'm going back to the story now. So right before V2, Fed proposed to transform Monica, which was the original AI agent, into a native printer AI agent, so into Deployer. And I accepted because I saw the potential, and so yeah, that's the story basically. So it's the official AI agent for Deployer, absolutely.
Very nice, very nice. And what give me a breakdown of some metrics. So a few things. Fees, number one, like what are the fees looking like? What's the tokenomics, kind of like how are the fees like distributed, whether it's to stakers or to buybacks or what have you. And then some other metrics as far as like tokens deployed on Deployer, like how have you seen traction on the bot. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we are currently at, if I'm not wrong, 26, but around 30, because around 30 of our supply is staked, and well, in this market, having a third of your supply locked by the community is bullish. So, and it also proves that a proof of belief model works. And we're also seeing huge daily volume, which is right now at 400K just today. which translates to significant fees for all the stakers. We are also seeing an increase in token launches, especially from other AI agents that use Twitter. And we are working closely with the Printer team and other AI platforms. And we are also generating around $100 a day from the launches that are happening through Deployer.
Very nice. And so, what I really thought was interesting about Deployer when I first heard of it, I mean, Deployer is built on top of Printer, right? So really, the more Printer is successful as a launchpad,
Mhm.
the more it attracts deployers, and these deployers, if they're doing that via Twitter, they'll just kind of come to you
Yep.
guys. But I look at someone like a banker, for example,
Yep.
and I realized that banker is, it is for AI agents. They do have like that stake to compute
Yep.
mechanism, like that makes compute cheaper for AI agents. But launching that is you're gonna have to be on base, right? That's more
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
for base. Same thing with Launchcoin. Launchcoin was more so for like Solana, but even niche
Mhm.
down to like ICM projects. Like, how have you guys seen any traction on the AI side, on the utility side? Like, have you guys seen anything like that? And are there any plans to provide like
Mhm. Yeah.
further capabilities for AI agents that launch through Printer to kind of mimic or even compete with what Banker is doing?
At the moment, we are focused on omni-chain expansion. So there is Plasma and Mega-ETH coming because Mega-ETH is launching soon. So we want to integrate that like direct as soon as they launch. And we also there is a Ethereum staking option coming next week. And also we are studying, as I said earlier, the integration of cross-chain swaps and bridging on Twitter directly. So AI agents will be able to, let's say, swap the Solana to Ethereum using Deployer on Twitter.
Interesting.
So
Is that the first?
one of
Is
my
that the
questions.
first?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Real quick, it is
it will be the first to do that. Yeah,
interesting. I'm
because
sorry. Go ahead,
there
Tom.
is no tool that allows you to do cross-chain swaps or bridge directly on Twitter.
Yeah, this will be really interesting. I think to understand like the full deployer vision, we need to understand, I think, the future of Printer as you see it, right? If you're building on top of Printer to be kind of their go-to deployment mechanism via Twitter, you must have a lot of conviction in Printer as an ecosystem performing well. Are you guys going to be Printer specific? Are you going to start opening this up to, Pump Fun, other Meteora launch pads? Like, how are you guys looking at that? What's your vision for the Printer ecosystem, the broader Printer ecosystem, and then maybe launching on different launch pads as well?
We are loyal to Printer because we are the official AI agent of Printer, so we can't launch on Pump Fun. So that wouldn't make sense because imagine you are like the official AI agent of a platform and then you go to another platform. It doesn't make sense.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. If your product is printer dependent, right? Printer does well.
Yeah.
You guys will be around for the long
Absolutely.
haul. Gotcha.
Yep.
You're the first utility project on Printer.
Yeah.
And so I guess the question becomes, are you going to add any additional utility to the token outside of stake to earn from the fees? Is there going to be any sort of fee split from the economics of the business? Is there going to be any sort of perks for holders? I don't know. How are you guys looking at that?
Yeah. So right now we use 50% of all our generator revenue from every token launched through Deployer to perform open market buybacks. And yeah, that's the main utility for the token. And basically, when you stake Deployer, like all other proof of belief tokens, you're just hoping the price goes up because you're earning money thanks to the trading volume for every transaction, buy and sell. And let's not forget there is also the airdrop multiplier for stakers on Printer. because people tend to forget that. That's very important. And people who stay with Printer for the long term are the ones who will win the biggest when Printer launches their token next month, because it's programmed for Q2. So by staking deployer, you're earning fees from all the transactions, from all the volume. We are basically, reducing supply by using our revenue to buy tokens, and stake them, so we can generate more tokens and stake them again. And since it's the first utility token on deployer, it's a safe bet. If someone told me, asked me right now, I have 3K, okay, and I want to buy 3 Printer tokens. Now, if I was that person, I would buy Belief, FetJoy, and Deployer. Why? Because first of all, they are established Printer tokens, right? Second thing, they are proof of belief tokens. So you stake, you earn rewards, and you earn airdrop points. So 2 meme coins, okay, and 1 utility token, which would obviously be Deployer, because you can't have an all meme coin wallet.
Right.
That's retarded. You have to diversify. And I will buy these 3 tokens and stake all the tokens and get those Printer airdrop points. You get the rewards from trading fees, and your bag grows. Simple.
On the note of the buybacks, you guys are, like I said, reinvesting half of platform revenue into buybacks in perpetuity. Yeah. Are you guys doing this via smart contract? Is this manual that you're going to do maybe at certain levels to support like a floor? How are you guys looking at that?
We do it manually, and it's very random. Last week we did 4K, 4K buy, and it was randomly done, So keep an eye. When I do a buyback, I pin the community on Telegram and I share the news on Twitter, and keep an eye on that.
So you guys did $8,000 of revenue your first week?
No, but we used the fees we generated from staking to do that buyback.
Gotcha.
How much of your own supply do you guys stake?
Right now we are at 11%, 11.2%, something like that. But 11%, yeah.
And I know that sometimes, we've seen this idea kind of tossed around. There's a lot of interesting things that you can do with these proof of belief staking mechanisms that Printer has. I've seen people where they would stake, a large amount of their supply, and then they would use they would use the buyback or the staking rewards to buy back the token and airdrop. They would airdrop to holders. We've seen Quack, for example, on Printer do that. They airdrop to top holders of other memes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's any of, I know that there's a buyback and burn, but sometimes when you buy back to, potentially either stake more or airdrop, or is there any other plans or any other ideas that you guys are entertaining?
I'm actually thinking of that, but we are not executing it yet, but we are thinking of doing that at some point, because it's very interesting, rewarding directly all the holders. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, sounds good. And I guess one question I had, we kind of touched on a little bit, but I wanted to just ask it again. What is your view of the future of Printer? So the future 6 months from now, what do you think Printer would look like?
Well, you know why Printer is winning right now? It's because Pump Fund is basically a pump and dump platform, and why Printer is built for the conviction. So on Pump Fund, you're basically fighting cyber snipers the second you launch. It's like a lottery, 50-50. You don't know if you're going to get rocked or not. And since Printer introduced proof of belief, you are seeing tokens where 30%, 50%, 80% of the supply is locked by the community. You can't do that on other platforms. This is real conviction, and something actually the trenches have been missing for a long time. We actually forgot what conviction is, to be honest. And so Printer for me will be the first launchpad after their token launches next month, it will surpass PumpFun. It will be the first launchpad in crypto. Absolutely. Because proof of belief is the new meta. Like deployer is the leading, like is leading the AI agent meta. Proof of belief is the new meta. So, and the liquidity will flow into printer, in the future. So this is nothing. What we're seeing now is nothing. You will see even more liquidity going into printer in the future.
So is your main target audience being able to deploy AI agents? Is that mainly what you're focused on?
Not necessarily, because everyone can launch a token using deployer, AI agent or not. So it's up to the user to do whatever he wants with the tech.
We have about 10 minutes left, so I want to rapid fire a few questions. I don't think we got a good understanding of who's on the team. Is it just you solo deving? Do you have a crew with you? And maybe a bit of your background as well. Like, are you an engineer by trade? How did you get here, I guess?
Yeah, so I'm basically the main dev, and I have some moderators for Telegram and other chains, but and I have some friends of mine with who I worked on with my old project Monica, and they help with the project sometimes. But right now I'm alone. So yeah, and as for the background, well, as I said, deployer didn't just come out of a boardroom. It evolved organically. It started with Monica. Which an AI agent I was building on Monad since July last year, and it evolved into deployer right now. And yeah.
How are you guys looking at marketing and bringing this to the masses? I think most people in the printer ecosystem are probably well aware of deployer, but as this ecosystem grows and you need to reach more people who, should, I guess, agents or people who should launch through deployer, how are you guys doing that?
We are actually, there are some collabs coming with a few partners soon. And there's also a P2P coming as well. And yeah, you will see. We have some collaborations coming very soon with some very known AI platforms.
Interesting. Can you maybe break this down a bit more in terms of roadmap? Obviously, you talked about some of these partnerships. Mm-hmm. Any more details, of course, would be great, but say what you can. What does the roadmap look like?
So right now we have, like I said, Onchain expansion coming, Plasma, MegaEth, and other blockchains. But mainly we are focused on Plasma and MegaEth. So we have Ethereum staking coming next week, but we are waiting on printer because we can't enable it ourselves. So when we get the green light from the printer team, then we're gonna enable staking launches for deployer as well. And then you will have also the chance to buy supply when launching the token. This will be new. So you will be able to tell deployer, so okay, launch this token and buy 1 Solana of supply from me, and deployer will buy it for you and will send you the supply. You will be able to stake your supply, claim staking fees from Twitter, and we have also received many complaints from users saying the limits are too much. So we will decrease the fee claim limits per user, and users will be able to launch more than one time per day, once per day, because now we are limiting, because we have seen like a lot of spam launches from AI agents and bots. So we have temporarily put some limits, but we will increase these limits and also put like a system in place that will work basically based on how many deployer tokens you have in your wallet. So it will be like, there will be like tires, So the higher you are, the more you can launch a trade like cross swap in the future and do other stuff. So you will have like less limits.
Got you. So just expanding on product, making more optionality
Yeah.
for everything. That makes sense.
And we got coin market cap yesterday. We will get coin Geeko as well. Like in a few days, we will get a lot of other things. I don't want to spoil anything. You will see by yourself.
Okay, well, we'll keep track of the Twitter account then, and
Yeah.
follow up with that. Last question from me. I guess it all predicates around, how much volume can come through this platform. So, which is going to lead to 50% going towards buybacks, and buying back, and then you can go and stake that. Kind of makes this flywheel. Not going to get too much into that. But the question does become, what are your economics? How do you guys intend to buy back as much supply as possible over time? Could you just walk us through, I guess, how you guys are profiting when someone does go and launch a token?
It actually depends on how much revenue we are making, especially for the buybacks. Because if we are operating in loss, then it's impossible for us to do buybacks.
Right.
So the more launches there are, the more revenue we can make, and the more buybacks there will be. So it's linked.
Of course, but is that like okay, every launch there's a 2% or like a 1% fee that you guys keep, half of the fees. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 50. The creator keeps 50% right now, and we take 50% of the fees. But as I said, with the tires we will introduce very soon, by holding a certain amount of deployer in your wallet, you will be able to take more from fees, like let's say 60%, 65%. So it won't be 50%.
Okay, I see. Hold deployer, have more of a claim on fees for those tokens. Makes sense. I think we're good on questions. I think we got a good overview of the protocol, what deployers do, and what you guys are looking forward to. Any plans to dox? Do we ever get to see the beautiful Vendetta here in person?
And soon. Yeah, soon.
Oh.
Maybe. Why not? I'm like half doxed, bro. Like on Monad, I'm doxed because everyone knows me, because I've been there. Because sometimes you share some information, people just they find you. But some people, they're very like social engineering. I swear, some people have like insane skills, bro. I swear. You share some little detail. Okay, I'm traveling to Paris. They see which plane is traveling to Paris, and they see all the passengers. I swear, these guys are insane, man.
When it comes to people's money, they don't play, man. They don't play.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're not really hidden. More so, just maybe not forward.
Yeah, I don't have. Like I don't have a reason to hide, because I'm not doing anything. I'm
sure.
Like I'm a safe. Like I'm an honest guy. I don't do rugs or scams. So even if people find me, and they have found me, some guys sent me a message on Instagram like a few weeks ago. So that's okay. I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think we're getting to this point in crypto where, originally it was so cyberpunk and everyone was kind of keeping their anonymity. But now as we get into launching more of these businesses on chain, I think people are stepping into the forward-facing founder role and more professional business look. So it's been, I personally enjoy seeing that. So Vendetta, it was a pleasure talking to you. The first utility project on Printer is Deployer here, and it was wonderful talking.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Vendetta. We'll talk to you next time.
Cheers, man.
Peace, bud. All right.
Awesome.
There we go.
Dude, great interview. Great interview. I mean, I feel like that Deployer, what I really love about it is it's very straightforward, right? The tokenomics are simple, straightforward. The project itself is simple, straightforward. Omni-chain token deployment bot. 50% of the fees go to buying and burning the token. What I really love about Deployer, though, is the fact that it's not just geared toward one thing or another, right? It's not just ICM projects, on-chain startups. It's not just, AI agents on Base. It's not just Solana. It's not just, Base. It's everything anywhere. And that's what I really love about Deployer and just about the positioning of Printer itself.
Anything, anywhere, all at once. That was a movie, right? Everything, anywhere, all at once, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
What's interesting is the 50% buyback, and on the printer ecosystem, it makes absolutely no sense to buy back and burn. You should be buying back and then restaking that, and then you could distribute, I guess, those
that
fees
is what I
to
was
more
trying to
buybacks.
ask. That I totally waffled the wording on that, but yes, because I'm like,
I think he said that's kind of like the plan. Or I mean, currently they have some stake. His last buyback came from, fees from the staking portion of it. So I would imagine anything bought back will be staked, and then something from that staked emissions will, potentially flow back to buybacks or holders. I'm not sure how that'll work exactly. I guess we should have gotten more clarity on it, but it seems like he is aware of this for sure.
Yeah, he did say that he was flirting with some different ideas outside of just burning. Like, but I like that idea of, look, buy back your token, stake it. So instead of just those tokens going, because there's always been that question, right, that we've had with ICM of like, okay, like what's the point of buying and burning tokens? What's the point of wasting all of that capital? Now you can really put that capital to work through the proof of belief staking mechanism. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, great interview. Again, one of the top, utility tokens on the printer ecosystem. I mean, it's a very, to me, not financial advice, but it is a very obvious bet on the ecosystem. I mean, it's a launch pad and now you have a kind of this token deployment bot on top of it. I mean, it reminds me of like kind of Clanker and Banker back when, they first launched, like, because Banker was officially built on the Clanker infrastructure, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Well, yeah, he's working very closely with the printer team here too, which it seems like they're going to be coordinating together on this, to where it's like, hey, you were here early, I'll throw you a bone, you throw me a bone, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, sort of situation. So that's nice. I think until we get the print token, it's probably one of the better betas on the the entire printer ecosystem. Of course, that'll be
100%.
short-lived until we get the print token, but really the only, everyone knows here I'm a big utility guy. Like I just don't dip my toes in the memes, because I know it's so much of a game where ring around the rosy until the music stops playing.
Come to the dark side, Dom.
I know.
Come to the dark side.
When the market gets frothy, I'll start trading some meme coins. But in the meantime, this is probably, Deployer is the only one I've actually found I think a lot of interest in the printer ecosystem. Not that I'm not interested in the printer ecosystem mechanisms, which I am. It's just the only thing that I like personally would put capital towards. So nonetheless, we got Cody from Spawn coming up next. Chill's been iterating, working around the AI agent thing. I think kind of a vision of Chill's, and I think anyone that's got half a brain here realizes that at some point AI agents are just going to be better financial actors than we are, because they're objective thinkers. They think based on the numbers. It's like a quant that makes no mistakes. So I'm going to let you lead this conversation. I'll also let you pull up screen, because I know you have like some Spawn agents. But interested to hear Cody's thoughts on just directionally where we're headed, and then like how Printer's positioning on that. But I'll let you guys take it and kind of lead. Cody, if you're good to go, sounds like you are. I'm going to pull you up now. So let's do it. Cody, founder of Spawn Agent. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Sound crisp.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Perfect. Hey, nice.
Good to have you on MCG. I know we've been kind of a little we've been going a little back and forth here a little bit. Seeing when we can get you on, but I know you guys are like head down, you're building, you're busy. You guys have been busy from the moment you launched. So just can't wait to, get the full story. Looking forward to kind of digging into everything. One of the places where we like to start with these interviews, though, is just with the founder themselves, kind of getting a background on yourself. Where'd you come from? What led you to building Spawn? And then we can take it from there.
Yeah, sure. Pleasure to be here, guys. Like you said, it's been a long time coming, it feels like. So basically, it's two of us working on this project, me and my co-dev. We're both from Sweden. I've been working in the tech industry most of my years. I've taken a little step back from working recently, so I guess you could say I have a lot of time on my hands, and I plan to do something big with it. And like my crypto story is, I came into crypto a couple of years ago now. I'm not gonna pretend to be like an OG from back in the days mining bitcoins and everything. I've been in crypto for a couple of years. I've been trading mostly, but recently I've been moving more towards building. And yeah, that's in short. That's pretty much it.
Is the moving towards building, is that happening because we've had this emergence of Claude code and kind of the vibe coding, I think, narrative setting in, or have you always been a builder engineer?
I've always been very interested in building. I think more so now maybe because how accessible everything is. And I think I've always been pretty optimistic and enthusiastic about AI. So I think where we're headed is, for me at least, it's a fun area to explore.
I want to get into Spawn here, but like I think to set the stage for everything, I want to get in your head on just like directionally where are we headed with AI agents, and specifically in the financial world where you guys I think are mostly predicating your product.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, AI agents, I think, I don't have the exact number right now, but a big percentage of all the transactions on chain today are already done by agents and bots. And I think as time goes, the number will only increase. I think if you want to have an edge in the market in the future, I think it will almost pretty much be like you will have to have an agent or a bot in some kind of way, because I think agents and bots, they are much better at executing. They're active 24/7, and just like most people, like they have jobs, they have families and everything. They don't have like 10 hours a day where they can just sit and trench and trade. So I think having an AI agent also can help you in that case, because they can be active 24/7 and just be more effective overall, basically.
Got it. Now, I do agree with you. I do think there's going to be this shift towards AI agents because they can be more active. Like we don't have, 10, 20 hours a day. And I mean, I'm with the trenchers, man, that they're active 18 hours a day. And sometimes even they still miss, some things. So walk us through the lore of Spawn, because there is this product that you guys have built, that allows you to kind of create this agent. But what I'm really interested in is the infrastructure that's built on. I think it's really important to highlight what that is and why that's so important and core to the how the agents work. So let's kind of start there.
Yeah, sure. So basically, as I've said, always been enthusiastic when it comes to AI. So I wanted to explore this field on my own with AI agents. And we've seen a lot of projects that claim to have autonomous trading agents, but doesn't have much of a product to show for it. So basically what we've done is we've just built it and we've shipped it as fast as we possibly could, to make it accessible for people and easy to deploy. And everything is basically built from scratch, coded from zero, on our own private servers, and like from the intelligence behavior to the trading engine, like how agents find coins, how they decide when to sell, and everything is pretty much custom built from scratch.
And is that based on these principles? Is that based on your own trading activity you've seen on chain?
Basically, like the way it's built is it's not based on any trading behavior, because the agents are basically, they are from the beginning, they are free. Like they don't know anything until you give your agent settings and DNA. Like when you custom make your agent, you give them the parameters and the numbers and everything, and that's what decides like how the agent trade. So it's not really based on any trading behavior, I would say.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you have this back end infrastructure that allows your agents to trade. Walk us through the rest of the platform. How can someone get involved? Where's the best place for us to start to kind of break down the full trading product that Spawn offers?
Okay, so basically, at first the agents only traded meme coins, and as we have planned for a while now, and we released it, I think it's 2 days ago now, the agents can also place bets on prediction markets. So basically what you do is, if you go on our website, you can custom make your own agent, and you can decide. You have basically three options. Either it's a trading agent, a prediction market agent, or both. So what we've done is we've unified both meme coins and predictions to put everything in the same wallet. So if you choose both, your agent, you fund it with whatever amount you like, and the agent scans both for prediction markets and for meme coins, and whatever it finds that fits basically the settings and the criteria that you give your agent, it can basically place a trade on it. So I think the best place to start is probably to decide for yourself, like, do you want your agent to trade, or do you want your agent to place predictions? So that's probably the place to start. And then I think as you move along, I think everything is pretty straightforward, like with the settings and everything. So I think what we've done that I don't think many platform has done before is we've made it pretty much easier than ever to actually make an agent and have it ready to go in just a couple of minutes, basically.
We've seen this idea floated around a lot where, AI will trade for you. Like we've seen,
Yeah.
I'm sure Dom can tell you how many projects we've seen on ETH back in the day that just that claim that there is this AI, engine behind the trading activity. And I think this is the first platform where I have been able to come in, custom make my agent. And as we can see on screen, you have the different like DNA parameters that you can set. You can tell it to be more aggressive or more patient. It can kind of bag hold, or it can kind of quick flip and trench. So what are walk us through a little bit of the metrics on the platform. How many agents have you guys created? I know that there's a graveyard, so like if the agents aren't profitable, they basically die or they get recycled or what have you. But I don't know if there's a list of total amount of agents on the platform and a list of total volume metrics around how much they've generated so far.
Yeah, so right now, I think last time I checked, I think it was 44 active agents on the site that are active and trading right now. And in total, I think we have had about 150 agents created since we launched in like, what was it, 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago. So the interest
Cody,
is definitely there. Yeah,
I think we're getting a little bit of feedback on your end. Can you repeat that one more time for us?
Okay, yeah. So I think last time I checked, we have 44 agents active. Are you hearing me clear right now? Is everything okay?
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Loud and clear.
Yeah. So 44 agents active right now, and they're trading. I think in total, it's like 150 agents created on the platform, whereas some have withdrawn their money and basically killed their agents, and some have, as you said, if an agent loses 80% of their portfolio or goes under the threshold of 0.1 Solana, they die basically and go to the graveyard. And I think right now we're doing around $10,000 a day in volume. Numbers have been higher, they've been lower, but right now that's where we're at. So the interest is definitely there. People enjoy this a lot. And that's also one thing that we thought was important when creating this, that it has to be like fun and enjoyable, and make it like personal in a way, like that you really get a connection to your agent.
So
you know what?
I got a quick question on, do you know, Chill, if you have a follow-up to this, I'll let you finish the thought here because I'm taking it in a different direction in a sec. So.
Yeah. Let me cook here for a second. So it definitely is fun. I will say I've been iterating on the platform. I've created my own agent. I've seen where, you know, it has been profitable, and then when it does lose, it hasn't actually had a huge portfolio drawdown that you'd expect out of just creating an agent. In my opinion, in some of the worst market conditions, it has, even to the downside, you know, kind of outperformed, like where most people would have, you know, completely nuked their portfolio. Shout out Crypto Jones here. Dom is trolling him. But we see that, you know, even in the worst conditions, you can create an agent, and even if it isn't profitable, it doesn't lose as much as most traders would lose. It's not going to get tilted if it loses 5 trades in a row or anything like that, right? So my question to you, though, is where can these agents trade? I mean, we see that they could trade on Pump Fund. We've seen, but like, and I've even seen you kind of like talk a little bit about Printer as well. Walk us through that part of things. Where can these agents trade? Is it ever going to be multi-chain? Is it ever going to be multiple platforms or multiple launch pads?
So as you can see, as Dom scrolled down, those are the launch pads that our agents currently can trade on. And so we have Pump Fund, Printer, Bags, and Bonk. So these are the 4 that are currently active.
Oh my goodness. Dude, this is the first time I've seen this, because I've created my agent about like 2 weeks ago, and I've been kind of tinkering with the mechanics. If we already created an agent, is there a way to can I just edit this into the agent? Or
yeah, you can. We added this yesterday. So if you already have an agent, or all 4 are already selected, so if you want to deselect a couple, you can just go and edit your agent.
He's selecting Pump Fund right now.
So what's the thesis here? People, you know, let's say Chill goes and spins up an agent. He's finally he's cracked the code. This thing's profitable. It's been 2 weeks now. You know, its drawdown to profit ratio is really good. Maybe it only goes into drawdown ever like 5-10%, but it's quite profitable. You know, is the next move from there being able to launch this on, for example, a Printer, and being able to say, hey, anyone that buys this token can get a share of, you know, all trading fees will go back into the tokens or the agent's balance, and then anything it earns maybe will get distributed to holders. Is that kind of like the thesis here around creating the optionality to launch these agents?
I think that could be a part of it, yeah. But I think the main perspective we've been working on is the reproducing part. So basically, any agent that makes more than 0.5 Solana is able to reproduce a child. So what happens is you can't see what other people have used as settings for their agent. So if you spin up an agent and you can't get the results that you want, but you see other people having agents with consistent results, making profits over time, then, and I think this is one of the best parts about this project, and one that isn't explored to the fullest yet, but then you can reproduce a child to that agent. And I think if you want to, I can screen share for a second to make it,
please,
make it clear for people how I mean. So let me pull this up.
Yeah, there's I'm hearing some sort of birds in your background. Any bird experts know a bird call? Can identify these ones?
I'm outside today enjoying good weather for once in Sweden.
Oh yeah, is the weather nice? It sounds like you're in like the Amazon or something with all the sweet tweets.
Let me go inside.
No. It's not distracting.
Okay.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
There's like 6 different types of birds I can hear.
Let me screen share here and we'll see.
Sounds like a nice day. The weather in Florida has been pretty phenomenal these last couple days, so I've been happy with that. Whenever I can get out from behind this godforsaken desk.
Can you see my screen now?
Yep, you're good.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so basically this agent in the top is the first agent created in this bloodline. So what happens is people see this agent and see it make steady profits, and they're like, okay, I want to make a copy of this agent. So what they do is they reproduce a child who basically spawns with pretty much the same DNA and settings as the first agent, but the DNA can mutate. So some DNA settings and parameters can either change by plus or minus 15 to 20%. So it won't be an exact copy, but almost the same settings, basically. So what this does then is these children, every single profit that they make, they send 10% off to the main agent. And every agent can have 5 children. So this agent can have 5 children, as it has now. And when these children get to 0.5 sol in profits, they can have children as well. So this agent can have 5 children, this can have 5 children, etc., etc. So basically, it's like I don't like to use these words, but it's like an agent Ponzi scheme. If you can,
it's like horse breeding. You find the best horses that win all the races, and then you go and breed them.
Yeah,
it's an interesting business, horse breeding, because like then you get these really elite horses, and some people, just become horse breeders. Like it wins one race, and they just continue to breed these horses.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a big part of this project that I think hasn't been done before, at least from what we've seen. And I think also as time progresses and we see more profitable agents, this will really, really come to light, and it will be real fun for people to be able to follow.
So I want to ask something about this. You have the spawns, I guess, the children, whatever you want to call them, come out of the main, the main agent that's been performing well. Are the adjustments that are made to the children random, or are they tweaked with I guess, some thought behind them?
For now, they are completely random, but it's limited to, I think it's either 2 or I think it's 3 parameters that can mutate. So it will pretty much have the same settings, but up to 3 can be different. But for now, it's random. It's not like it happens automatically, basically.
Interesting. And also, the underlying agents you use, like what kind of model are you using? Because we've seen, different models have different results. You can ask them the same prompt, for example, and they have completely different results. What model are you guys using for this?
For this, this is basically like all the code and all the intelligence, behavior, and everything is house built. So this isn't, the trading behavior is not based on an actual model. Basically, it's just numbers and data, and that's all they know, basically.
Got it. Yeah. So I am now like I'm literally about to upgrade my my agent, because I think it's really massive that you have an AI agent project like this who can drive volume to any particular platform. Have you seen that interest from like I know you mentioned you were kind of talking to Printer a little bit, but have you seen any of this interest from like launch pads or ecosystems where like, hey, your ecosystem can drive? I think at one point you guys are doing like 300K in volume per week, but now we're kind of seeing this like shift in interest towards some launch pads. So is there someone coming to Spawn and saying, hey, look, you're driving a lot of volume, can you drive that our way?
Yeah, so first regarding the volume, I think our record day is $100,000 in volume on one day. And I think the reason now why the volume is much smaller is because, one, people have basically, at first when people launched agents, they made them buy every single coin available and here and there, but now it's more picky. So the agents choose more quality now, and they better coins basically. And about the volume, driving volume to launchpads, like you said, we have talked a bit to Printer about this. I won't go into any details, but I think you can definitely see that the interest is there. And we've been asked to, not to mention any names or anything, but we've been asked to migrate projects from Pump Fund to other launchpads, etc. So I think it's clear that there's an interest for this.
Got it. No, I also think it's very interesting because the future of agentic trading is pretty massive, and maybe we can speak to that a little bit. So we talked about a lot, and if there's anything about the platform itself that we might have missed, feel free to let me know. But I do want to kind of transition into the future of agentic trading. What does that look like? What does that look like today, and like how can Spawn kind of revolutionize that? And what would that look like in, let's say, 6 months, a year? I mean, it's pretty easy to spin up an agent. At this point, the barrier to entry is so low. I could even see myself calling you guys like the Pump Fund of trading agents.
Yeah, that's basically that's one of our goals as well, to make it, because not anybody can. I mean, anybody could talk to Claude or ChatGPT and eventually build their own agent, I guess, that trades. But what we've done is we've made it very, very simple for people. Like you say, the Pump Fund of agents, I guess we could say. And I think it's not sustainable to have a project where you have 1,000 agents and all of them are trading meme coins, because eventually they will just dump on each other, buy on top of each other and stuff. So it won't be sustainable. So the goal for us is to expand into as many areas as we possibly can, where agents can be effective and profitable, such as meme coins, prediction markets, perp trading, and like you mentioned, like DLMMing, and whatever else works. So I think finding the right areas where our agents can thrive is the key. And I think in 6 months you will see Spawn agents in many more fields than just meme coins and prediction markets.
The DLIM angle is super interesting because it feels like a much more, I should say, much less aggressive angle to the market, where you're just, and much easier for agents to identify, where it's like, okay, here's good volume. Does it pass a few check marks? And can we earn like a mathematical equation on, can we earn fees even if we have some sort of impermanent loss and the market goes down? Interested to see how you guys iterate on that. Are you guys in communication with Meteora?
Not really. We've been not talking to Meteora about it yet. We've been looking into DLMMing and seeing more how it works and everything. But if we come to the conclusion that it's something we should try, then we'll definitely try to get in talks with Meteora about that.
Okay.
And something that we've seen that, like, we've gotten some interesting mentions and people who tried our product so far. So, for example, as you guys know, you tried to get him on here, Vibu, for example. He created an agent. And not yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, Solana Floor made a video. They talked about Spawn agents and that it's a fun concept. And he also talked about, basically, he whipped up his own AI agent outside of Spawn. And what he realized is that having your own agent can cost basically up to, say, $10 per day just in compute cost. So this equals around $3,500 per year. And what we've done is made it completely free. So all the compute and other stuff is covered by us. So you just have to worry about designing your agent, deploying your agent, and then you can just watch it work and not pay anything for the compute.
So I have two things I wanted to talk about here. So first was kind of takeaways from the Vibu, the takeaways from the Vibu experiment, right?
Yeah.
We saw, Vibhu from Solana Foundation. He created his own agents, and essentially, like, he just set them to be the most aggressive AI agents out there.
Yeah.
And he set them to only trade sub 50K market cap tokens. So can you talk to us a little bit about as a trader coming into the Spawn ecosystem, creating an agent myself, how should I be looking at these things? And are these things like, because they're not going to automatically be profitable. And I think this was a discussion that even the Spawn community had to kind of come together and help people to realize, like, it's not just going to be automatically profitable, right? So talk to us a little bit about that, the philosophy behind that, and just the mindset that people should have when they come to your platform.
Yeah, so today I think it's getting better, but I think a lot of people come to our platform with unrealistic expectations, because there's data that shows I think 3% of all the wallets trading on Pump Fund today is profitable, and most of those are probably like insiders, bundlers, multi-wallets, and whatnot. So I think what you need to realize before you make an agent is that most people who trade these coins are unprofitable. So you can't expect to just launch an agent, give it some settings that sounds nice in your head, like, yeah, I would like my agent to do this and that, launch it, give it some money, and then just walk away and expect to make money. That's pretty much what happened in Vibhu's case. Like, he whipped up an agent, made it very aggressive, gave the agent 5 Solana, and I think in the beginning, Vibhu's agent was actually performing really well. I think it was up to like 9 Solana or something. And
I reproduced on that one, actually.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I saw that it was, I always check. I always scan the agents. I always scan the bloodline, see who's doing really well, see who's P&L is up, and just try to see if I can, create something for myself.
Yeah, that's a good way as well to find a profitable agent. It's to reproduce winning ones and seeing what settings they use, and then you can adjust them yourself. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Like, our agents, they perform. Their performance is basically a mirror of their owner. So basically, good traders will be better at creating profitable agents, whereas bad traders will probably create unprofitable agents. So I think in order to create an agent and be realistic, you need to have realistic expectations and not expect, mooning just overnight. I think you need to analyze numbers, see where the agent wins, where it loses, like which market caps are good, which settings are working. Should I have a tighter stop loss? Should I increase it? And all those kind of stuff. So I think just the expectations on your agents needs to be more realistic.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's really interesting because I think I even put a tweet out. I said, an agent is a reflection of the person that created it, right? Like, there's no, there's no magical thing that you can come in and magical setting that you can do. It's really you having a thesis on the market and using the DNA, the parameters on the platform to kind of codify that and use that to kind of just have like a mini you constantly on chain. So that's what I really love about the platform here. But maybe we're coming up on 30 minutes here. So some closing thoughts as we wrap up this interview. Maybe talk to us a little bit about your roadmap. You just came out with prediction markets for agents. I know you guys are working on some other things as well. You mentioned DLMMing, perps. Talk to us about what you're most excited about coming in the future.
Yeah, so we have a roadmap for anybody who wants to read it. It's on our website. We've been skipping a little bit back and forth because prediction markets was supposed to be further along in the future, but we kind of speed ran that a little bit. So the next steps is basically like we analyze the numbers daily. to give the agents better conditions to be able to be profitable. So I think the main focus right now is just continuing to focus on the agent and the agent performance, and making sure they can be the best version possible. And we're doing some back testing right now, basically to bring some base models you can use, where there's like one low risk, one medium risk, one high risk. That's made by us, so it will be easier for people to maybe create a base agent. Yeah, overall, really excited to work on this project. I think we still have a really long way to go, and we're pretty early still. So still experiencing issues and bugs everywhere, like I think many projects do. But I think the direction we're going is very interesting, and we have built pretty good community so far that really supports us. So I think, yeah, the future is really bright. And we'll also be hosting, like, we have had some competitions, but we want to do more agent competitions, agent versus agent, agent versus humans. Yeah, a lot of great ideas coming, and a lot of ideas as well that aren't public yet, but that we plan to fulfill.
Got it. And two last questions I want to end on. First is one from Crypto Jones here that was really really one of the thoughts that I wanted to get to. How does the token accrue value? How do you guys make money? What's the business model?
Yeah, so right now the value of the token is basically, when we launched, it cost, I think it was 500,000 spawn tokens to make an agent. What we've done now is that we've made it completely free for people to spawn an agent. Basically 3% of all the profits that agents make goes, at the moment, it goes towards buying and burning the token, but we also plan to see what different angles we can do with that money instead of just burning it. I know you talked a little bit about this earlier, and Dom, I think it was, considered burning a bit of a waste. So we're looking at different solutions to that. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
I think so. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think you covered it well. That was it. The one about the token, and I believe Yeah, keep going.
I think just to explain why we have like the 3% of profit. Sorry, my dog is squeaking in the back. Let me close this door.
Or you can just go outside. We get the birds again.
Yeah. A lot of animals around here.
Guess so.
So basically, the 3% of profits going towards the token, basically, it drives the team as well as the people creating agents for agents to be profitable, because the value of the token is driven by agent performance, basically. So in order for the token to go up long term, agent profitability is going to be key number one.
So could I ask you, I got one question which will lead into my final question here, but I got this infrastructure page pulled up. We know agentic infrastructure is really valuable right now. How are you guys thinking about integrating some of this infrastructure outside of just the Spawn platform? And I'll give you an example here. Like, would you ever go to Polymarket here with the new prediction market and say, hey, let's put agents on your platform to where people can just have a tab in there to use the infrastructure you guys provide? Are these conversations you guys are interested in or having? Kind of just, I guess, trying to figure out your go-to-market here and how you want to get this infrastructure everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think many platforms will. I think many platforms are in need, and they didn't realize it yet, but are in need of infrastructure like ours. So I think platforms will eventually start reaching out. And that's pretty much what we're doing now with Jupiter. The prediction markets that we're using today is from Jupiter predictions. So we've integrated our agents into the Jupiter system. And also it can work the other way around. So we basically open up for plugins. So for people that already have existing agents, they can basically plug their agent into the Spawn ecosystem and have their agent work basically through the Spawn ecosystem, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, I got you. All right, Chill. Any last questions? I think I pretty much covered the whole thing. I guess I have one more actually on the prediction markets. I feel like we didn't touch on that too much, right? This is your newest feature, and then looks like you're looking to do perps after this as well. What are some of the features of prediction markets? One thing we've seen agents do very well is just take advantage of clear arbitrage opportunities. For example, prediction market comes to a solution, comes to a resolution, but the market hasn't fully adjusted yet. Let's say the resolution here is on the 25th, and we've already gotten the answer to that resolution, but the market's only at 98% rather than 100%. Are the bots supposed to come in and take that arbitrage opportunity, or how are you guys actually looking at this?
Right now, we are not working with arbitrage. We are planning to do it in the future, but right now, our main focus is basically something called edge. So what happens is our agents scan markets, and when they find a market that they like, let's say they find a market that's a 50% chance of hitting, and our agent does all they gather information, they analyze, they reason, and they come to a conclusion that, okay, I think it's a 55% chance that this bet hits. That means the edge is 5%. So we're working a lot with edges right now. So basically, the higher the edge, the higher the confidence that the prediction should hit, basically. And so that's what we're working the most with right now.
There you go. Jill, any last questions?
No, I think we got everything covered. Cody, it's been great to finally get you on stream here, talk a little bit more about Spawn agents, the future of agentic trading as well. As you continue to build out other parts of the platform, I know we got perps coming. You mentioned that you're on this stream that you're kind of talking to printer, and so there's all these things coming potentially. So if there's any time that you want to come back to MCG, you want to come back on the stream, let us know. Happy to talk more. Happy to just to be a place to kind of host you and the community to all kind of come together. But this has been a fascinating interview. Appreciate your time and coming through today, and looking forward to the next time. And I'll definitely be trying out the agents. I'll be making tweaks, and you'll be seeing some more progress on my end, especially now that Launchpad we can filter by launchpads.
Yeah, good to hear. I appreciate you guys always tuning into the streams, and appreciate what you do. So looking forward to the next time. It's been great being
My God. Thanks, Cody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Chat soon.
Alrighty. Take care. Awesome.
Greetings,
dude.
King's mentality.
Man, you gotta love the greetings that come through. A King's mentality. I literally wait for that every time. Just a good shot in the arm. Good shot in the arm, man. I want to go back to something Crypto Jones said a little bit ago. Let's see. He mentioned, won't that staked buy buybacks act as a potential sell pressure in traders' eyes?
This is going back to employer.
Yeah, the previous. So what we were talking about there, because I think it's really interesting. Because I wouldn't be I would actually love something like that for Spawn, actually. Like, imagine you have all of this, you're doing buybacks from whatever source, whether it's, trading fees from Spawn agents, trading fees from your token, and you're buying back. Instead of burning that supply, you buy that supply back, you stake it through the proof of belief on printer, and your rewards are in SOL. They're not in the token. And so you can then use that SOL that you get to either for Spawn, he can use that to run Spawn competitions. He's done that before. He can airdrop holders. He can buy back more supply. But it gives you a bit of optionality. Instead of just burning that, your tokens now become a stakeable asset that you can use to get rewards based on the volume that you generate. Which I think there's a certain DeFi component almost there that could come up.
Yeah, I could see a migration of printer being practical for something like Spawn. I just don't know how they would execute that and maintain you know, like a one-to-one transfer, I guess. I mean, there are definitely ways to do it, but it would cost a little bit of money because you wouldn't be able to drain the full liquidity pool. But I do think it would probably get a lot of attention. Interesting concept though.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Very interesting concept. Let's see here, guys. So we're at about hour 45 minutes on stream. We got through all of our interviews today. We had great interviews with Deployer and with Spawn, both interesting projects. You guys have heard us talk about those, whether it be on the timeline or on stream multiple times. So I guess now, I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, some of the majors. We talked a little bit about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the potential supply shock there. What I did want to go through here is just one or two other majors. And then we can go into some on-chain stuff. There's a lot happening on-chain. There's a lot happening on ETH mainnet of all places. You know, we talk about return to tradition. That's a real return to tradition. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about in that regard. So let me pull up my screen here, and Dom, feel free to, you know, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to run through.
I got some stuff, but they're longer pieces. I'm not sure if you saw the Naval post about him introducing USVC, which is like a US venture capital. It's basically a basket of private equity stocks, and he's allowing people to buy into this ETF. There have been mixed reviews on that, so we'll talk about it later, but that's a bit of a longer rant. Also had an interesting thing from Ragul Ian, who is part of the cast team, bringing up a question about Avicii, and like at what point cast would even consider buying out Avicii, you know, if it goes to like a cheap valuation, how they would even go about that. And I think that was just an interesting conversation. And of course, I want to just go over the Kled CAPTCHA because I didn't do a great job capturing this yesterday. I think it's super interesting and it's kind of going viral. So, you know, I'll let you. I'll rip that at the end there. Of course, Crypto Jones wants his proof of belief 500. Oh, the dev.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So we can jump into proof of belief. FYI, I have a bunch of family over, and everyone is on the internet at the same time, and it's like probably like eight of us. So if I gotta just reset real quick, I gotta go on a private, my private one. But anywho, the devil of POB commented on a post of yours. Chill, really. Let me do you know which post? I'm not gonna lie, like the printer eco has been like, you know, the communities have been like just smashing my my tweets, which I love. Dude, that's crazy. That's a crazy line.
The printer crazy line printing on my face. All right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but they've been rating. Let me see here. POB 500. So let me pull up Deck Screener. Let's go to Printer Eco. Keep it up, Cody. The vision is a banger, bringing advanced agents to nonstop super technical users. GG's, keep it up. Look, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm so bullish on Spawn agents. Like, you know, the how easy it is to make an agent. Number one, it's free and it only takes 0.2 SOL. You can experiment for 0.2 SOL with an agent, and then from there you just kind of iterate. I'm setting my agent to only trade on printer. So we have the option of trading on Pump Fund, Bags, Bonk, or printer. You can do all of them, you can do some of them, but I'm only doing printer. That's it. I don't care. And real quick, before we go into, I'm about to go into a printer segment to start our on-chain full segment. And I think a way to bring that in is to just show you guys the metrics. Let's look at the health of the printer ecosystem. So here is the Dune dashboard. Put that up a little bit. Bang. Let's collapse that Perfect. So here is the Dune dashboard. As you can see, daily tokens created, from last week. It's, literally for 10 days, it's just been going up and to the right. So obviously there's very healthy in terms of it's a launch pad. Tokens are launching. As you can see, those tokens are going parabolic, mainly happening on Solana, some on Base. Very interesting to see Monad as being third, because we were just talking about Monad with the deployer dev. So we have that there. We have tokens being created. We have volume also looking good. Let's look at market share. It looks like most of the market share is on Solana as well, about 50%. Again, seeing Monad at the top three is very, very interesting. But let's look at graduation. So we're obviously seeing a high amount of graduation. Typically, graduation rates are about 1% on Pump Fund. And I don't want to keep referring to Pump Fund because, like I said in my tweet, Printer is not Pump Fund. It's something much, much bigger, and maybe I just briefly go back to that tweet because I think it was just really it's a really important way to think about Printer. I feel like a lot of us are, we're early. We've been in this, in this ecosystem, pretty deep into it for a while now. Since it launched last week, I literally on the interview, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'm going to be trading here. And you see me in TG getting super active. You see me on the timeline being very vocal about the Printer ecosystem. And that's because of this. I said, stop saying that Printer is the next Pump Fund. It's not. It's bigger. Pump Fund is mostly used for meme coins solely on Solana. Printer is a launch pad for memes, for utility projects, for AI agents, and much more. It's not just bonding curves either. They're going to have Dutch auctions. They're going to have ICOs. And this isn't just for Solana. It's for all chains. It's bigger than Pump Fund. So I don't want to keep saying, I don't want to keep reverting back to Pump Fund in some of these comparisons. Sometimes it's just the only other thing to compare it to. But just keep that in mind. Pump Fund isn't the ceiling. It's only a benchmark in terms of what Printer can do over time. So we have some of those metrics around some of the tokens created. Let's look at the volumes. Look at the volumes here, man. And one of my favorite volume metrics to actually look at is not the bonding curve volume, but it's the cumulative volume. Dude, look at this freaking chart. Up and to the right. Look at this chart here. We see that overall platform wide 130 mil plus in volume. 100 million of that, 113 million of that alone is on Solana. Crazy to see Mantle in second place here, and even Monad ahead of things like Base and Ethereum. But obviously the volume is amazing. The unique traders are up and to the right there, as you can see. The transactions are there. So there's, again, the health of the ecosystem. Printer is humming along, and I'm going to be sticking as close to these metrics as possible because that will serve as my invalidation. My invalidation isn't price, it's metrics. And so as we go through this Printer ecosystem, let's look at how the ecosystem is doing right now.
So real quick though, on this, Fumbler says unsure if it can be bigger than Pump Fund. See another if Pump Fund sees another platform doing something new, they just copy it.
Real quick,
this is true.
Is Dom like chopping up for me, or am I chopping up? I don't
know. Yeah, that's a question for the chat, but I'm smooth on my end. Everything's smooth.
Chat, can y'all let us know if I'm chopping up or if Dom is chopping up? Let me know. And Crypto Jones, you can DM me that link by Scuffed, by the way, if you want me to pull that up. No one chopping on my end. Okay, maybe it's just me. Go ahead, run it, Dom.
Cool. Well, okay. Unsure if Pump Fund can be bigger. Not gonna lie, if Pump Fund sees another platform doing something, they'll just copy it. Yeah, I think. All right. Thanks, boys. Shout out the squad. Shout out Darth Infrel. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Moonboy antics to be saying it'll be bigger than Pump Fund at this stage. It's tough to call that. What will be interesting to see and how you can actually, I guess, meaningfully see if momentum's coming to Printer and it could be the next or bigger than Pump Fun is I think if you see people deciding to launch on Printer rather than Pump Fun.
Yep.
So I guess, Chill, in your experience, have you seen people go from, okay, I was going to launch this on Pump Fun, now I'm going to launch it on Printer? And if so, the question becomes, well, now Printer's got to keep this momentum going, because as soon as if the market crashes, right, and it's bounced nice, we can see this here. But if the market crashes, that's when it gets hard to claw your way back. So you have to keep the momentum going. It's like one of those things, you just cannot let the momentum stop until you've already been established. And everyone says, and no one's even thinking about launching Pump Fun. It's just like, okay, people are launching on Printer, mechanisms are better. This is the way. Once you let the momentum stop, I figure you're done for.
So I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I'll say this. We are seeing an uptick in unique traders on the platform. We're seeing an uptick in volume, but we're also seeing an uptick in not only the tokens created, but the deployers and the types of launches that we're seeing. I mentioned in my Telegram, just I think it was like yesterday or the day before, I was basically saying like, hey guys, all right, time to consolidate. It's starting to get competitive out here. I'll actually read to you guys what I said. I said the landscape on Printer is getting more and more competitive. We were early and bets were easy. Now more traders and deployers are coming. So, the number of traders has to keep up with or outpace the number of tokens or the number of deployers, right? So what I'm starting to see is the number of deployers start to kick up. That was the thing to kind of indicate for me that, okay, this is going to keep going here. And so when I look at Printer, again, it's not a price thing. I think, price will go up, price will go down, as we can see on screen here. And I'll just put up the belief chart as an example. You see that, like, price will go up, price will go down. Price went down almost 80% from all-time high. Let me just measure that. Price went down almost 80%. Oh, my bad, 50% from all-time high. So I mean, we get the pullbacks. The price will do what price does. I don't think that will ultimately be. I think there's a cultural aspect and to what Printer is doing. Pump Fund has the monopoly on culture. Everything that was ever done on Solana in the last year, 2 years, 3 years has been done on Pump Fund. And it's very hard to kind of fix or change that behavior, especially when a lot of people don't even see that there's something that needs to be fixed. A lot of people are getting siphoned off on the trading terminal side and on the Pump Fund side. They're getting all of their gains eaten into because of the fees that are charged, because of the deployers, the scamming, the bundling, and all of this. They're getting the brunt of all of that, and they don't even realize it. A lot of people, and so it's kind of like this abusive relationship where they just keep kind of coming back to their abuser. And we'll definitely talk about Repo, Crypto Jones. I saw them pumping yesterday. So yeah, like we're coming in, you're looking at an ecosystem like this, and it's starting to eat away, yes, at market share, but what I see that's most important is it's eating away at the culture. It's actually starting to eat into the culture that Pump Fund has. Now, the other part of that culture is actually seeing runners, right? It's actually seeing tokens run, people make money, and we're seeing the early days of that. A lot of people are printing on all of these tokens. However, there still needs to be, there is some room to grow in terms of seeing what can be done to eat away at more of this culture. All that means is just, let's see more runners. Let's have more people make more money. That's really all it is. But yeah, I don't know.
I think it actually comes down to just converting some of the figureheads, to be honest, which sounds, of course, like it sucks to say it, but the truth is, yeah, bro. But the truth is, people need social proof. And I think, like, the Axiom badges, the guys you see trading on Pump Fund every day that are honestly sometimes like terrible for the culture, terrible for the platform, terrible for the traders. I think you start seeing some of those guys come over, and then it just becomes like, the sheep will follow, right? So I think what Printer really needs to do to make a big push here is, like, you just need to plaster Printer everywhere, right? You need to be seeing the Printer logo, the Printer badge. You just need to see the public perception of Printer be generally good. And I think you need to see the people you see, the KOLs, the figureheads. And I hate to say it, but you need to see them, wearing a Printer badge or coming over here and starting to trade on Printer, and you know, kind of making a public move from Pump Fun. I think that's really got to be what you do to capture like that meaningful audience and whatnot. But I guess we'll see. This
100%.
I'm just nervous because this is the point where a lot of these platforms make or break. It's like you
Yep.
have the big runners, you know, they're steady up for a couple days. You may get the first big pullback or two, and that's when it's like, okay. And we saw, like, to your point, Joe, we saw Believe it happen where it died off, and then 2-3 weeks later, everything came back bigger and better and stronger. And sure, like that could be the case for something like Printer, but I would much rather just have them sustain momentum and continue to see like constant flow of traffic and people kind of coming over.
And you're right, Crypto Jones. I like this this comment. I love what Printer is doing, but Pump is going nowhere. You're right. They're not going to go anywhere. They've been the place to launch for years. So I kind of see, this is how I see the landscape, whether it is meme coins or just coins in general. There are people that, you know, they launch meme coins, experimental coins, you know, Ponzi coins. They launch utility tokens. And the kind of de facto place to launch that is Pump Fund. Like, no one is going to go through the complicated street or the complicated, you know, some of these other launch pads. No one's going to go to Bonk because it has no cultural mind share, it has no cultural relevance right now. Everyone is just going to default is Pump Fund. Default is Pump Fund. Eventually, though, and I think that it speaks to the room for growth that a platform like Printer has. It's going to take them a while to. It's not going to take them a while to make money and to be profitable as a platform. It's going to take them a while to dethrone Pump Fund. But that's a journey. That's like a 2-year journey where, like, people, again, this is where the runners are. This is where people make money. This is where the proof of belief, people get staking rewards and all of these things. You know, AI agents are launching here. Utility projects are launching here. Maybe they integrate Bedrock. That would be really nice to see them do. There's so much that could be had, but it's a journey. It's not things that are going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, next month. And so that's what excites me the most about Printer. But it at the same time, let's look at here's my last point. Here's my last point I'll make, because I love when my thesis is being tested. And I love that, like, you know, a lot of people are reaching out to me like, yo, what's the TLDR on Printer? What's the TLDR on Printer? And then some people are like, oh man, all the prices are pulling back. Like, what's the invalidation? Like, how's that gonna go? Like, they're all these questions are popping up. No one, the core community has conviction, but the general public is still on the fence. And again, that's why I'm so bullish. Why? You have $3 million worth of transactions and trades happening on bags. You have almost $10 million of transactions and trades happening on Bonk.
Who's even trading on Bonk right now? What are you even trading on Bonk?
Point. Exactly my point. What are you even trading? We're like 22,000 traders.
It's got to be a tail end. It's just got to be something people are trading that was launched weeks, months ago. Same with bags. Like, there's no way people are looking at like new launches there.
So that's my thing, and obviously we can see that, you know, only 7 coins have bonded on Bonk Fund in the last day. Let's look at the last 7 days. 21 in the last 7 days. But again, we have 100 million volume over the last 7 days, probably a little bit more. This might be lagging a little bit. But look at the bonding rate. Look at the bonding percentage here. Double of pumps with way more graduating than Bonk, right? So look, there's a lot of loose traders out here. Pump Fund is the default. They do have the monopoly, but multiple launch pads can exist in this space. And I think Fed on Rasmer's podcast, he really said it best. What he said was, Pump Fund invented the car. Everyone was horse and carriage, manually launching projects. And Pump Fund came out and they said, here's a car. And they automated a lot of things. They made it a lot easier, lowered the barrier of entry to launch tokens. But what Printer is saying, they're coming out with the Porsche. They're saying, hey, look, we understand that y'all want, anti-vamping. You got that here. We understand that you want customizations in terms of like your fee structure. So here's proof of belief staking. Here's fees going to liquidity. Here's fees going to buybacks. Oh, and by the way, you can launch AI agents on here. Don't worry about that. We got that covered. Oh, don't worry. You can launch on multiple chains. Don't even worry about that. So you have this launch pad that has monopolized the space with the innovation of bonding curves. It came with good. It came with bad. It is what it is, but it is an innovation. And so that's why Pump Fund was successful. And now Printer is coming out with even more innovation on top of that. And it's going to take a little while, but we're already seeing the early innings of success. And I stand 10 toes down on every dip. The dips are when I speak the loudest. And I'm glad that I was even telling you guys yesterday on Twitter that, hey, look, these dips are for buying. These dips are for buying. Because look, now we have belief. This bounced, what was this, like 30%, 60% almost? That was 60% bounce. Look at Deployer, and man, I don't know why my chart is doing this on the market cap for Deployer, but
looks fine to me.
This is where some of my stuff is like,
oh, it adjusts them. Yeah, it does do that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, so that's where my stuff was set. This was the pivot discovery candle strategy that we discussed on stream. So 8 hour, you see this couple of candles lead to a parabolic move. The last red candle typically get a retrace, confluent with support, bang bang. Now we bounced off support and we're up 113% today.
Deployer chart looks really good. This is one of those charts where it looks like right now you either you either bounce and like now you start making significant legs higher into like multiple millions, or if this fails, it's like slow bleed for eternity pretty much. That's what this chart looks like.
100%.
Now real quick on the Printer topic, because I want to speak on this before we get off of it. No one's tried the strategy of actually doing a community airdrop like Printer did. We had the airdrop meta do really well, actually send bags, which showed us something, and we know this, right? Hyperliquid was a great example of this.
Sent bags?
No, we saw the airdrop meta just like do very well, and those projects were sending, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was for a very small amount of time, but we did see something interesting from that, where it's like when people started getting airdrop, they rallied around something. They rallied hard around something. I wonder if Printer, and no one else has tried this strategy from a launchpad perspective. I wonder if Printer goes the hype route and they just airdrop a ton of supply and try to get the community completely bought in to where you see nothing but Printer on the timeline and everyone bag working. I never forget this. Tom from Soar made a great analogy, right? If you buy Toyota stock, you buy stock in Toyota, those people are much likely, statistically proven, much more likely to buy a Toyota every time they get a chance, right? I'm not sure, just whether it's the nature of it or you feel like you have bought into the success of the company or belief in it. That same thing applies for everything. So if Printer goes and does an airdrop and it's meaningful, maybe they could do a hype style thing, because we know hype wasn't the only purpose platform, but they did an airdrop. The community got behind it, and all of a sudden hype becomes the de facto winner. I wonder if Printer can replicate some of that, or if that's kind of the strategy there, because no one from the launchpad space has tried it. The only thing I fear is that Printer hasn't been around for long enough to where people can truly champion it. Although I do see a lot of people championing it on the timeline already, yourself included. So I'm wondering if they can pull the hype strategy here and use that momentum from, just everyone who's gotten the airdrop kind of supporting and pushing Printer up more in terms of mind share. But what are your thoughts on this airdrop? What do you think it's going to do for Printer? Do you think they should do the Hyperliquid strategy where they airdrop a ton of supply? Or do you think they should go with, how are you looking at this airdrop for Printer?
I mean, look, it's a bear market. A lot of people have been hurt by bad launches on Pump Fund. You come out with a great platform. You have a lot of people make a lot of money. And I say it all the time, right? Degens are free. Degens will be the first one to try out your platform, the first ones to trade on it, the first ones to experiment with it. And when people make money, that's a really easy way to create, evangelists for your product for your platform. And so you come out with a product printer, you come up with your launchpad, and you have a ton of people make a ton of money organically. By the way, I know my port is up. We've caught a ton of wins in the TG. A lot of other people are making a lot of good money on the printer platform so far. So you not only in a bear market have people make money, you then run an airdrop to say, hey, look, I know y'all had this bad time before we dropped. Thanks for your support. In fact, here's more money for you. What do you think is the first thing they're going to do with that money? Either A, they're going to put it right back into the ecosystem, or honestly, that's probably what they do. That's probably the only thing that they do.
Hey.
I mean, look,
It's either or A, lowercase a.
Either A or A. And I would assume that that's kind of what they're not what they're banking on, but I'm assuming that it just creates this evangelist, this core community that really rides for your project, like rides for your platform, and it creates this sort of core trading community that isn't going to die. Like, and people on Pump Fund, it was the same thing when you've made money, it was like, man, this is where I'm trading. I ain't leaving. So that's why when Pump Fund first came out, utility projects on Ethereum suffered. Mainnet couldn't catch a break because everyone went over to Solana. Everyone was on Pump Fund because that was where the money was made. And so that's what we're seeing now. If people are already making money, they're gonna get an airdrop, then they're probably going to come back and put that same money into the ecosystem. And because 90% of the fees come back to traders in some way, shape, or form, then that means that the ball of money continues to be passed around. The pie grows bigger. Everybody gets a piece.
Well, let's see if a printer can pull a hype. That's an interesting angle to look at. You can go 100%. Check out the ecosystem now. I just wanted to kind of throw that card on the table. Become the people's platform.
I really like that angle. You're right. It is the people's platform, but I just wanted to kind of let that simmer for a little bit. That was really nice. But yeah, deployer main utility token on the platform looking good. We covered the main ecosystem token belief is looking good. I know I'm in proof of printer. See, look at, man, this thing keeps moving my lines, bro. Stop moving my lines, deck screener. It's getting old. It's getting old. It really is. It really is.
Deck screener sucks.
It really does. Like, we need I literally said that the other day. Like, we need a new deck screener, like ASAP, bro. Like ASAP. But here's this falling wedge on Cult of Printer. I actually might end up changing my PFP. I'm not even gonna lie. I really like this like as a meme community. Been riding, they've been rating, I just love to see the bag work. Bag working is back like it was on ETH. Like, people are actually bullish. They're not just they're not just like trying to like dump on you real quick or anything like that. It's not Pump Fund style, but same strategy here. Same strategy. Discovery candle. Discovery candle, pivot, bang, retest here, and obviously a big fat retest here. So we had this discovery candle. Again, it's the pivot candle is the last red candle before the up only discovery candle. As you can see, these discovery candles, they can produce these like 100 to 500% moves depending on the chart that you're looking at. But like, in a couple of candles, something goes up. The last red candle before it is what I call a pivot candle. And I've been using that to kind of eye some of these entries. And, as you can see, we retested here. We had a fat retest here and, holding very well. And low-key look like we're about to trend higher. So that looks really good. Let's see. What else? What else are we looking at here? This one looked really nice. Patapim. That's
great chart.
Yeah, absolutely great chart. I know a few guys are bullish on this. Their community has been pretty much riding for this one as well. Again, bag working is back, so this looks really nice. And I'm in full disclosure, I am in this. Um, Also, another one that we called out on stream, by the way, on stream, I literally marked out this exact buy zone for you guys on Wednesday. I told you guys, look, I'm looking for a pullback under 2 mil. The chart looks overextended. So what do we do? We hit our same pivot discovery candle strategy. Bang right here. You see that pivot candle, and then you see the honestly, like even this one would work for a pivot candle as well. Um, Honestly, that one's probably a better one. I'm just seeing that right now. Let's see here. Boom. This is actually a better pivot candle right here. This candle here. But again, same strategy as we've talked about. Same strategy as we've talked about before. Last red candle, last down candle before a parabolic move. That parabolic move is described by me as a discovery. That last red candle acts as really good support. We drew out the buy zone at the golden pocket on Wednesday, and we came down, tagged it, and now we are up. We are up 100% off that move so far. We might end up tagging the buy zone again, so I wouldn't be surprised anyway if we kind of like we kind of try to form this bottom here, bang, before trending higher. I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like that. In fact, I'm going to leave that schematic up. What the dog doing definitely is waking up. We'll talk about that one as well. I've seen that one. This guy, AFK, this one also, I'm seeing a lot of community kind of rally around this a little bit here. So, keep an eye, just calling this one out, keeping an eye on it. It was at the top of the range. I didn't want to buy all the way at the top of the range, so I just ended up just kind of looking at it and waiting, but forming some of these higher lows here on the chart. And let's see where this settles out. So that's AFK. This is one that you guys wanted me to check out. This actually launched while we were on stream on Wednesday. Actually ended up being a fantastic launch. This is actually, I don't know this for sure, so don't quote me on it. But I think this is like a pump fund deployer. I have no way of proving that. This is literally just a hunch, but I can tell that this chart is supply controlled like nobody's business. You have this like go
to the 1 minute. Let's see the first candle. Should tell us all we need to know.
Let's see. Why do you say the 1 minute candle will tell us all we need to know?
If it launched and within 1 minute it candled up and bonded, it's definitely bundled. If it sat down at nothing for a minute or two or three or four, maybe it's not quite bundled and people just picked up on it and really liked it organically. But
Let's
the
see.
1 minute, if you see a 1 minute candle that instantly bonds it, yeah, it's bundled for sure.
Oh yeah, I went from 0 to 800, 0 to a mil in like 2 minutes, in 2-3 minutes. Yeah, so definitely is. I didn't know that.
Honestly, you can go to Trojan and click on that candle. I wonder we could see who the buyers were, or if the buy sizes were similar and around the same time. You could probably assume it's the same person bundling.
Let me see here. I think this is good for us to kind of break down just a little second.
Yeah.
Which chart was this one?
Something you should definitely know when you're looking at all these charts. That first minute's going to tell you all you need to know. You can go and see the buyers. Of course, I mean, people are sophisticated now. Like, it's not going to be the same wallet buying and bundling. It's going to be 5 different wallets, buying a relatively similar size at a relatively similar time. And that'll be your indication. And in the first minute,
80% bundled.
Yeah.
80% bundled on Trojan.
You said it though. You said it though, Chill. Like, being bundled is not always a bad thing. It's just again, you play the game till the music stops. It's musical chairs. You keep sitting down until there's no chair to sit on, right? So just get out when you can, I think is the moral of the story. Are you able to pull up the Trojan so we can actually see how that candle looks?
Yeah, let me fix up my Trojan a little bit here.
I didn't know that was a feature, but I do think that's super cool, being able to click into a candle and see who bought. If there's ever like, I haven't been tracking wallets recently just because it's just noise. I don't care to trade much right now. But one of the best things you can do in tracking wallets is simply go to the candle right before it started running, and you can click into it on Trojan and see all the buys that happen. Click on every single one of those accounts, go to SoulScan, see what they're holding, determine if they're alpha wallets, insider wallets. It's like honestly a cheat code.
So where am I going here on Trojan?
So yeah, you're going to 1 minute candle. You're gonna click then just click on that first 1 minute candle. It'll show you all the buys within that candle. She is lagging a bit. It's all good though.
Yes. My I got the tabs open, bro. Hold on, let me see if I can shut a few.
If you send me the CA, I can honestly pop on and do the same thing.
But yeah, I'll send it to you.
Cool.
But yeah, it's really cool that they have that feature on here. I mean, it's really, I kind of just had like a hunch that this was, I just had a hunch that this was bundled based on the supply control, because like, I mean, the price action, man. The price action on all of these on whatever it's called, you know, it's actually kind of crazy. You'd expect people to already token migrated. Okay. I'm not able to click on the first candle though.
Here, I can test my luck on it real quick. See if my screen's a little more responsive. Okay. So let me go all the way back to candle number 1. Yeah. So look, this is honestly alpha, boys. This is honestly alpha. And this works for any sort of tracking you want to do, okay? But look, first thing I noticed right here is candle number 1 within 1 minute. I could go down even lower, right? I could really go down to like the first 15 seconds to see you know, who's buying this. But instantly candle goes from 0 to 500K candle 1. So already signaling bundled. Clicking on this, and let me go to all right, how did it work? He clicked on the candle. Did he have to tools? Maybe he went to tools, analyzer, and okay, so I think he clicks no. All right, let me try this again. How did he do this?
That's what I'm saying. I use like bubble maps on Trojan. I look at the security audit, like the bundle, the snipe, the top 10 holders, but never the first candle.
I gotta get feedback on how he did this, because it was really cool. He just clicked on any candle and could see everyone. And I would do that for tracking wallets. Nonetheless, if you don't want to click on candles, you can still go and track the first buys, but go into age and just flipping it, right? So these were the first buys. And now I can't see exactly how far apart they were, which would be nice. But let's just look. So these were all the first buys. Let's see buy amount. Yeah. So we got 420, 486, 560, 600, increasing. Bought 7 sold, bought 9 sold, P&L. These guys have all realized everything, it looks like, early buyers. Yeah, so what I would look for, ideally, if I could click in the first candle, is see just how, down to the microsecond, how close these guys bought. I will say the size actually looks a little bit, okay, well, this size is crazy. For the first couple buyers, this size is pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's undoubtedly bundled. But typically I would actually look for example, if this first buy was 420, someone doing 390, someone doing 427.
11 soul at 13K market cap. What are we even talking about?
Yeah. So,
but literally this chart just off the just off the chart, it gave me like, okay, pump fund deployers are here. And that's why I said earlier that yes, while, you know, pump fund has a monopoly on the culture, it has a monopoly on traders, there are deployers that are realizing like, man, maybe I should test the launch over here and see how it goes. And so now you have these, you know, these bundled launches. Now I don't know again, the cabal behind this bundle, I don't know if they're still in. I don't know if they have good intentions. We don't know all of those things. I just trade. And honestly, the chart has been holding really well, but it is musical chairs at the end of the day, so it works until it doesn't. But yeah, this triple O is not bad. Not bad on the chart side anyway. Not bad on the chart side.
Yeah, Crypto Jones. I think I don't know if this is completely accurate, but the terminals do show pre-migration as well. And yes, it's a good point. You don't want to be looking at the first buys post-migration. You need to look pre-migration. And of course, pre-migration happens off-chain technically, so that's why you need to see it in some places. Nonetheless, you're right, Crypto Jones, but you can't see that through the terminals. But it looks good. I mean, it looks good. Just again, musical chairs, boys. Get out before it eats you up.
I'll mark this as my my buy zone here below low 2 mil. Let's just call it 2 mil. That's the buy zone here that I would mark out for this same strategy. I wonder how much this discovery candle actually printed real quick. Yeah, 100% move. Okay, cool. So that's 000. Let's see. I think the other one was which one did you guys? What else did you guys want to?
There's repo if you want to jump over a base.
Yeah, let me finish the soul side real quick, because they wanted also what the dog doing as well, so we can cover that a little bit here. I know either is going is starting to reverse a little bit. It's been kind of hovering around this 10 mil area, around this area of support. I think they still had good metrics. So that's either spawn coming into an area of support. So not too bad there. Pretty vocal community. So that's the spawn setup. Let's go to our memes though. Let's go to what the dog doing. It's up 60% on the day. And I've always wanted to keep an eye on this chart because I love the meme. I love the meme, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just love the meme, and it's back into this buy zone that we've had marked out for quite some time. So I want to continue to monitor it. Like, does it like just reject off here, right? Like, does it do something like bang bang and just continue to trend down, or does it kind of hold inside here, go up, start to retest, right? This area is where this area right here is where I would look to get in a retest of this buy zone. That's really what I would do. I kind of cut here because I realized that this candle was just, I was like, man, I don't know. This looks like it wants lower. And it did. So now let's see the chart bottom out. Let's hopefully we can form, some consolidation here, maybe get a retest or something, and then we can go on to do something, but I'm still very, very bullish on the meme, still tracking it. All the posts do well. The engagement still does pretty well. I don't know if you guys seen Bernie. I don't know if you guys remember Bernie. This is the one that we DLM'd a little bit ago. The price actually held, and just within the last day or so, up almost 4x off the bottom there. So that's Bernie. And other than that, let's hit base, and let's hit base ETH, and then let's get out of here. We covered a few things on Wednesday. Not much has happened on on base. Volume has been pretty stagnant in my opinion, because ETH mainnet is now picking up on the volume, and I think there's a lot of competition for capital on ETH and base. So right now you're seeing a lot of these like charts slow down. Litcoin still holding really well, still holding the highs really well there. And we talked about the thesis there on Wednesday. So that's Litcoin. CyberRen is pulling back. That was really powerful. And then one of the most powerful charts on base right now is Repo. Repo looks really, really solid here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that repo actually came into. They had like some update. I know there was a listing.
I
Oh, POB
can
500, bro. I totally forgot. POB 500. Okay,
we'll get you on that.
yeah, we'll get you. We'll make sure we get you.
Promise.
Here's the repo Twitter. Let's look. Looks like they're got a Kraken listing.
Yeah, they got the
Go
Kraken
ahead.
listing and they got a capital commitment, which I think is driving this. This is a post kind of giving the update. I'll just read it for you guys. The Kraken FX listing and Bolt's capital commitment to the foundation set a new baseline for where the project is headed. Grateful for the support and ready to build on it. New agentic workflows are live across the platform. Blah blah. All this stuff doesn't really matter. We got to focus on the Kraken listing and the Bolt's capital commitment. Now, I'm trying to figure out what type of capital commitment this is, right? Because if it's like a market maker capital commitment where they keep a piece of the fees generated, that's not that great. If it's a capital commitment to, using the repo protocol, that's something completely different. So let's read this a bit. I haven't actually read this, but CoinDesk released an article. Repo Foundation secures $20 million commitment to solve training data bottleneck using prediction markets. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. The Repo Foundation has secured $20 million in committed strategic capital from Bolt's Capital to support Repo's next phase of protocol development and ecosystem expansion. Repo Labs co-founder RG says prediction market TAM is expected to reach 1 trillion annual trading volume by the end of the decade. Our core thesis is that prediction markets will grow beyond betting on sports and the world events. We are already seeing information markets, opinion markets, and more. We are thrilled to pioneer AI training data markets using crypto primitives. Most AI labs are spending a lot on sourcing domain experts as human data continues to be extremely valuable for AI training, providing on-demand feedback to agents and robotics in the real world. Why not let domain experts find your data? That's one of the many challenges we are solving using prediction markets for AI training. Over the last month, we have secured over $2 million in USD in trading volume, validating our thesis. Users are now leveraging the data sets that have sourced to fine-tune polymarket agents, detect security vulnerabilities, and much more. We know about repo, but I want to understand this. I want to understand the capital commitment more. So, okay, Bolt's Capital is an investment firm led by experts in crypto venture and public market, committed to backing foundational infrastructure across artificial intelligence. So is this capital commitment an equity deal? I'm not sure if it's an equity deal, if it's, hey, we're going to run $20 million through the repo ecosystem to have, to solve this data problem. And we're going to use your mechanisms to do this. Like, what is the capital commitment here? Like, we're going to put up a $20 million bounty to make sure we have like fine-tuned repo data coming through our pipeline. I think that might be what this is. But good nonetheless. And then, of course, you got the Kraken listing. What are your takeaways from this, Chill?
Solid. I mean, look, it's a proof of concept playing out. I mean, we've known that using prediction markets to verify or validate AI data is a really interesting way of validating data, but it's also like a preferred way by the user and by the client, right? Like, we've seen the user metrics on their platform grow. Their retention rate is really good. They have not only like enterprise clients coming in to provide the data, but they also have recurring and retained users that actually want to participate and actually vote and validate this data. So, the proof of concept is there. Now it's just a matter of scaling the operation to, put this in front of, bigger folks. And, now they're having, capital backed, capital that's backing them to do that. And we know that the repo team, the lore behind that, their team is absolutely massive. So that it's not just like, your lone dev or something like that. These are actually big hitters that are contributing to repos. So it's only a matter of time for them. It's literally only a matter of time.
So it looks like Bolt Capital holds repo as an investment. I'm wondering if some of the 20 million is going towards a further equity. Maybe we should get Repo Team back on to kind of explain what this deal looks like, because I think it's unclear as to what the $20 million capital commitment looks like. When they say capital commitment, I would imagine that's them running data through the repo platform, and they've committed $20 million to pay out people basically like validating that data. Could be wrong, but that's how I'm perceiving this.
Yeah,
But Volts Capital is
100%.
not like a market maker, so this isn't some sort of like predatory volume deal or anything.
Nope. So, but no,
Gotcha.
very bullish repo, very bullish repo. I think outside of that,
Hit POB real quick.
POB, yeah, let's hit POB and then let's get out of here. Let's GTG. Yeah, let's hit POB
Sweet.
and then we GTG. All right,
I got a few
POB
things to cover
500
after this, by the way.
Okay, cool. Oof. Oh man, that price action. Oh man.
See
Pulling up the chart now. Boom. Wow. Oof.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
Not ideal. I mean, the it basically just, insta pumped and then just crashed out. And let's look at your strategy here real quick. Let's look at the 1 minute and see.
Well, Crypto Jones is right on this. It's just going to show post migration here.
Got you.
But you can look on trading platforms, I'm sure, and find it. Doesn't look bundled though. I mean, looks like the bundle's out if it was bundled.
Yeah, let's see.
So wait, what's the TLDR? Maybe here I'll read the
yeah, I think
stake
Crypto
POB
Jones
500 earn top printer ecosystem tokens automatically. Okay, so you stake the token and you earn as emissions top ecosystem tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this. There's a meme coin on ETH back in like 23. They tried to do the same thing. It was a reflection token, but basically the community could vote on what assets to give back to the community that that week or that day or whatever. So I've seen something like this before. Jesus. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, false alarm. I thought what the dog doing had already 2x'd again, but it did not. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's something to keep an eye on.
Because I feel like
fade it too.
I feel like if you wanted that token, check out their website. I'll check out their website. I feel like if you wanted the token, like I would rush around there, pick and choose the token I wanted emitted rather than like a basket of different tokens. Here, let me show their website.
But the thing with this though is it's dependent on volume. You need volume to drive the staking rewards. And so when there's a little bit of volume, there's a lot of holders. I see 550 holders right now. You have a little bit of volume. You have a lot of holders. That means, you're not really getting much for whatever you're staking, but you are at the same time enduring some terrible price action with like little to no volume. So, because I think what's the 24-hour volume on this? It's 230K. It's not particularly impressive. Yeah, I might have to. I'll keep this on the chart. Like, look, if the chart ticks back up and market tells me it wants to go, all right, sure. But for right now, I don't know. I think I'm fading this one.
Well, I will say there's some credence to this. It's an auto rebalancing basket. So, I think since the ecosystem's so new, you probably would want to limit it to like top 3 rather than top 5. As the ecosystem grows, you can make it a little bit bigger, top 5, maybe even top 10, with the highest stake being in the, more established tokens. But it is an auto rebalancing basket, which I think is pretty interesting. Just like any of the ETFs or the S&P, once a token falls out of the, market cap range, it goes and replaces with the one that takes it over. So interesting. An auto rebalancing basket of the strongest tokens launched on Printer, like an ETF for Printer ecosystem stake POB 500, and creator fees are swapped every 10 minutes into the current top performers. Okay, so they're actually taking their own creator fees as well then. So I would imagine the founders of this or the team is only profiting off of the emitted tokens, and they probably hold a significant chunk of POB 500. If they do, that should be represented in the amount that they stake to prove commitment to the protocol. So also would be nice to know if this team stocks. But ideally what happens here is if the team does have a lot of their own supply, we need to see them stake their own supply, and then that would basically be their show of, okay, we believe in this product and we believe that it'll be valuable to be emitted these top 5 tokens every 10 minutes. And that's how you'll profit. So I probably wouldn't touch it, but I see the vision.
Yeah. So I think for me, that does it for all of my on-chain stuff. I think I'm good so far.
I'll do a quick look over at the things I've been talking about, interested in. Watching the block situation, watching the CLED situation, watching the Pumpcade situation, seeing how the market is reacting to equity on chain. Right now, it seems like people are preferring the ACE model over the Street model, and that's objective. So here we can see CLED. We had the information come out of the equity 5% on chain up to 10%. A bit lower than we would have liked, but it is what it is. They introduced a flywheel, and they introduced, I think what's the most interesting part is this CAPTCHA service. This is what I think is a completely unique DeFi mechanism that actually is fully built for the token. So let's talk about this, and then I'll get into the whole equity thing. I thought this was super cool. We created the world's best CAPTCHA, the first CAPTCHA that is free for companies and then pays you to solve it. Impossible to bot. And instead of showing you images of random traffic lights, you're shown real AI training data to validate. Thing is, a sample size I feel like is going to be small, but if you want to log into a website, instead of doing the stupid CAPTCHA where you can sit there and click, a bicycle, you actually solve AI training data for them. So this is interesting because it now is actually a way to safeguard platforms, but also safeguard platforms. You don't have to pay a CAPTCHA providing service because it's free. In return, though, CLED is getting validated data from the people solving these CAPTCHAs. So it is actually kind of an interesting strategy to to have people validate AI training data. Data is provided exclusively by CLED, and once validated, is sent directly to the leading foundation models and robotics companies to further the advancement of AGI. Introducing UFDP.ai, the Universal Fraud Detection Protocol. Read full thread below. And we know the fraud detection thing is very, very big because there are companies going from 0 to 10 billion in like a year or two, solely based on reviewing data. Like they're reviewing data and sending it off to labs. So fraud detection is very, very important. But we'll watch this video, and yeah, I just think it's very interesting. Oh, and by the way, you earn by doing this as well. Does this video show something washing dishes? Yes. So what happens is you have a pool of like 50 people who do the same task. The majority who vote, yes, get rewarded in CLED. The ones that vote no get docked on their payout, and also their like trust score. And so then the majority decides what data is legitimate or what's not legitimate. Good way to force crowdsource human intelligence like offer a service. I don't know how meaningful it will be in terms of like who's going to implement the CAPTCHA. And it's so few and far in between when I hop on a website and I have to CAPTCHA. It's like, I don't know if that'll be meaningful enough, but when you do implement a token, the CLED token aspect, it becomes a really interesting, unique DeFi mechanism. Oh, there is a thread. So I'll read this. Every AI lab in the world has the same problem. Billions of data points with no clean way to validate them at scale. Bad data in training pipeline destroys model quality. Quality control is the single most expensive bottleneck in AI development. CLED is the largest opt-in, blah, blah, we know about this. At that volume, verifying every single upload is impossible. Standard ML fraud models are not good enough to detect that level of requirement complexity at scale. Contributors figure this out fast and start cutting corners. UFPD is the first free CAPTCHA service for any website. Instead of a standard CAPTCHA, users are shown real anonymized data points pulled exclusively from CLED's pipeline. Install the extension, connect your wallet, and you get paid every time you solve one correctly. For companies, the CAPTCHA is completely free. For users without the extension, it works exactly like a normal CAPTCHA. They just don't get paid. Consensus is everything. Get off my screen. Each question goes to a cluster at minimum 50 people simultaneously. If 47 say the answer is X and 3 say Y, it is X. The 47 get rewarded, the 3 take a trust score hit, their pay multiplier drops, and they get flagged for closer review. The network self-selects for quality over time. The best validators earn the most. The bad actors get priced out automatically. The results of the other end is clean, verified, requirement perfect data delivered directly to the lab. The robotic lab gets 10,000 videos. Every single one of them has both hands visible. Everyone filmed in natural daylight, no cuts. Cled's sales margins on this data let us run this capture service completely free, unlike any other service in the market. Traditional captures are becoming worthless. AI can now solve any fixed image, blah, blah, blah. We get it. So the entire capture network is fully decentralized. Payouts powered by Cled. We already have a user base in early testing. The whitelist is open today. I think that's a fascinating way to add more value to the Cled token, and like power another system. So interesting development there from Cled. Just wanted to note that. We'll take a look on chain. Cled has put 5% on chain, valued at right around. This is about fair value technically, just based on equity. This is the response compared to Pumpcade, right? You see Cled trading at 15 mil. You see something like Pumpcade trading at like 23 mil right now, which is interesting. Again, implying that the valuation of the company is above 50 million. 5% have already committed. So I'll actually, I don't have that saved, or I don't think. Oh, I do. So look at this. Over 5% of the total supply of Pumpcade has been contributed so far for the ace round. So over $1.2 million has already been converted from Pumpcade tokens to actual safe notes and equity in the company, which is really interesting. So people are starting, I think, preferring this model over the street model, just objectively. We also saw Blocks do this. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but Blocks adopted the ace model as well, and it's been absolutely ripping. Of course, this is completely overvalued. And here's a tab here. This is completely overvalued in my opinion, as they're only looking for 3% of equity to be swapped for a certain amount of token, which means this represents 3% of the company's equity. So on a 1.1 million valuation, this is way, way overvaluing what this company's worth based on what I've seen. But look at how the market's responding. Clearly interested, either because it's a new mechanism that they're unfamiliar with, or because they actually just want equity and they think it's good. Why I'm saying this is because that leaves us with two interesting options to watch. Two things we can watch, right? Number one is Orgo. Orgo's at a very depressed level. I'm not a holder of Orgo, but I am watching it. If the equity narrative is starting to pick up and Cled is getting priced at what's considered, a fair value to equity, not trading at premium, you would assume if Orgo does the same thing and adds 5% equity on chain, this should be trading at a fair price. So 1.4 million, that's 10% of 14 million. So 5%. Yeah. So this would basically assume 732K would assume that this is a $14 million token, $14 million equity. If they added just 5% equity on chain, if they add 10%, it would go to 30, so on and so forth, right? 20%, 60, so on and so forth. So I do think we're low technically in terms of what they could raise. I think they could raise at 30 million. So probably double this. If they just add 5% equity on chain, this probably should get to at least 0.003, right? So it'll be interesting to see if that reprices to a fair value. Again, they have not committed to ERCS. They've not committed to street, but it's something to watch. I'm not holding Orgo right now. That's just if they do 5%. If they do 10%, then so on and so forth. So watching Orgo, because it's something that could be a benefactor of the the Pumpcade, Blocks, and Cled situation. Also watching CPT, right? This is one, if we see the equity meta pick up, this is one that's got the pseudo equity as well, that's severely trading at an undervalued rate. Again, 6%, I believe, or 7% is on chain here, which put this company at like a nearly a $9 million valuation, which is just sickeningly low for what CPT is doing. So again, if the equity meta picks up, I would expect this to kind of follow suit. So watching and seeing if this is, and it also comes down to like, if all the other equity stuff picks up and CPT doesn't, well, the SOAR model just doesn't work. And so that's going to be interesting to watch. Only two things I wanted to cover there. Lastly, I got one more thing. Lastly, I think this is really interesting. We see Avicii money kind of taking a plunge. And I'll pull up the Avicii chart. Avicii now is valued at $6 million. $6 million market cap, super low. Chart looks terrible. And so the Cast team put up an interesting question, right? Competitors of Avicii, right? Cast's payments. Cast put up this question, curious for an answer. How do I launch a merger and acquisition for Avicii money, and what are the mechanics? Any idea from MetaDAO? Does the token really own all the assets and the whole project? It's down to 6 million market cap, less if accounting for the team's issuance of the token, right? Which I believe the team has like maybe 40% or something. So you can knock off 40% of this. Unfortunately, if it's traded like a stock, it's pretty hard to raise money off a low market cap. So then you face running out of money eventually, and thus the token is challenged. By the way, I'm still holding Avicii. I bought in support near the beginning, so I'm getting zeroed out in the process too. Anyways, no interest in a merger and acquisition for right now. Just curious of the mechanisms. We'll wait patiently. Profit respond. He said, you need to create and get a proposal through. A previous proposal created by the team and approved by the market stipulates that any hostile acquisition would need to transfer 30% of the enterprise value to the team. So they responded, yeah. So by that math, 0.47 price today, the value is 8.65 million based on 30% going to the team and extra tokens minted. My buy/bid price would be at 0.10. So down a significant amount from here. If we presume the remaining cash will be transferred as well, and only 100K a month being spent still, the token is down 85% in the past 9 days, but dropping to 0.10% is far away. But if the alternative is token going to zero, I'm sure a swap, go Cast, equity, or cash could be interesting at some point. The proposal would be for the token to hold an SPV, which would hold Cast equity, albeit I'm not sure on free trading. Maybe it's converted in some other way. Anyway, much time to let it play out.
Which do you prefer?
What do you mean?
Like, are you more the ACE model? Are you more SPV? Like, what are you leaning?
I like the ACE model more. Undeniably, the ACE model I think is better if they can make some tweaks to it. The SPV is cool, but again, there's no direct ownership. You own the votes. A DAO owns the SPV, which can then disseminate the profits from a merger acquisition. The ACE model allows you to swap tokens at any point. So at any point, a token goes below what's considered fair value, but you can swap your liquid token for the illiquid equity, and you can actually hold that equity. And it adds like a speculative premium on the token. Otherwise, there's just straight arbitrage, and anyone can come in and sweep up and get equity at any time. Now, the people's pushback on ACE is, okay, well, when you swap your token to ACE, what happens to that token? Well, the team holds a token, and then in a year it gets unlocked, and people are saying, well, you can take that token now, and it inflates the token forever if you can just keep swapping it for equity. And that is true. That needs to be fixed. I'm not like sitting here as an ACE apologist that thinks everything's perfect for ACE. I just think it looks better right now from a holder standpoint than ERCS. So I think that needs to change, right, to where something happens with the tokens. It's tough to say. I don't have to make that decision. But that's one of the complaints, which is valid. And then also the complaint is, well, the equity window is only open for 1 month at a time. And again, I would challenge everyone to go read the docs because this equity window can be reopened. Another iteration on ACE would be, I would love for that swap to be open 24/7. And so, what's currently open for 1 month is if once that one month window closes, I can't swap my token for equity. And that's when it can fall way below equity valuation. If people assumed it would be reopened at every round or reopened at any point in time, price goes below that tab, you should technically trade at a premium to that equity. So I think those two adjustments need to change. But if that can happen, then the ACE model is truly better. Otherwise, SPV, the ERCS standard, I think is the best we have, where there's just equity on chain. The token represents a specific amount of equity. It's pretty cut and dry. The only issue is, the DAO piece in the middle and, the choice if they want to distribute to holders or not. Obviously, you would assume the choice is yes, but I think ACE is just nice. It's the same thing. It just gives you the exact claim on equity at any point in time you feel it's undervalued. It just needs to be tweaked. I think ACE is just harder to accept in the overall landscape. SPV is easy to understand, and everyone knows what they get. Yeah. No, I agree. I think the SPV is pretty obvious. It's like this token represents this much value of the company. Boom, cut and dry. I also think then, I also think there should be network effects on the token like Cled's doing, which is nice to see Cled doing this. So I do think the SPV is really cut and dry. I think ACE is pretty simple too, though. I mean, it just becomes, hey, swap your token for equity at any point in time. I just think the multiplier is a bit confusing. 2.5x tokens for 1x equity, I think is confusing. So I do think it needs fixed up, but I see the vision if they can do it right, where it's more enticing. And the market seems to agree. The market's pricing the ACE tokens much higher than they are. Like they're pricing them at a premium. So sorry, long-winded answer, Chill, but that's my answer.
No, 100%. I mean, I think not a bad answer at all. Not a bad answer. But dude, why can't I talk today? Not a bad answer at all. Yeah, it is getting late. It is getting late here, guys.
Well, then I got one more thing to cover. We'll wrap then.
Yep.
But I just thought this was cool because it shows that, like, if Avicii just keeps going down, there's going to be people that want to acquire them. Cast, for example. At what point, how could Cast acquire Avicii and all their assets on hand? And this was just a conversation of, well, you need to get a proposal through. People will need to agree with it, which I think is a little bit of friction, right? Because I think Cast, I think anyone that could come in and save a token from just going to zero and just fully acquire it is a really interesting thought. And Avicii is one of those products where, like, they have users and they have some sort of traction. And so it makes sense to acquire for Cast if it gets cheap enough. The process of how they could do that, though, is one that's a bit more, I guess, harder to define. So I just thought it was a cool conversation. Wanted to highlight it. Lastly, yeah. Thoughts?
So in that would, like, is it just a matter of the holders coming together and then the holders just saying, hey, yeah, like, we're agreeable to these terms, and, like, I don't know, are they getting paid out in stables or something like that? Or?
Yeah, I guess it would just be the holder. Yeah. Which, well, that's part of ownership, right? It's the whole thesis is holders get to, they get to decide.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if
Okay.
I think Cast is willing to come in and buy them out significantly above market value, I could see the holders being like, oh yeah, right now it's at 0.1. Cast is willing to buy it for 0.2. I'm making this up. I could see a lot of people saying that, or it could cause a reprice in the token. Just interesting thesis nonetheless, or thought. So thinking. Now we have this, and this is getting a lot of like, some people love it, some people hate it. It's getting some backlash. So I want to know your thoughts. I want to know the whole chat's thoughts because this is interesting. Naval made this tweet, and he goes, introducing USVC. I'm just going to break it down. It's a single basket of high growth venture capital for everyone. I think they even have what's listed in that. It's your typical SpaceX. I think Anduril's in there. I think Anthropic's in there. I think OpenAI is in there. Okay. Okay, yeah. It includes OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, Serena, Cursor, Legora, Vercel. And so the question is, why would a fund go ahead and offer their equity in a company for anyone to buy, in form of a basket? And a lot of people are saying, specifically Tulip King, who made a very interesting statement here, basically it's the art of exit liquidity. These venture capitals now need to find ways to sell it. And because tokens are taking so long to IPO, part of what they're doing is they're looking for exit liquidity in any way they can. And one of those ways is actually selling that equity to retail who's buying them at these extremely inflated valuations. They pose it as, okay, we're letting you guys buy, equity in these private companies. You're not an accredited investor, so this is good for you. You get access. We're giving you access. But also on the other side, people can look at it like, well, wait a minute. These guys are just hunting for exit liquidity because these prices are so high. They want to dump at these prices. And I think I see both sides. It's great write up here from Tulip King. You should read it. It's the art of exit liquidity. What they're really trying to do is our TLDR. You might have noticed that after inflating private companies to trillions, the VCs are finally ready to sell. The only problem is that they need some exit liquidity. Yeah, and I think it's an interesting concept.
You can ask Grok to summarize, by the way.
Okay, I can get a Grok summary. Unless he's got TLDR.
It's a Grok button at the top of the article that gives you bullet points.
Oh, is that right? Is that a new addition?
Yep, bang, right there. Grok, and then if you scroll down, you should see the bullet points. There you go, right there. Just passed it. You just passed it.
Am I an idiot?
Yep, at the top.
Yep, you're
Right
a fucking
above.
idiot. Oh, here
There
it
you
is.
go.
Okay.
Bang.
Summary: VCs inflated private companies $1 trillion and now seek exit liquidity by selling to the public markets and retail. The old bargain made stock markets America's welfare state. Workers as shareholders riding capital's upside via 401ks and index funds. Companies staying private until huge valuations shifts value creation away from public markets, leaving passive retail capital to realize gains instead of compound them. I think this is the key takeaway here. Before, public markets said, hey, if you like a company, you can get all these companies in your 401ks. You can get a broad index of the entire economy of the US and profit as it goes up over time. And now what's happening is these private companies are staying private for so long, they're becoming $1 trillion valuations, and no retail has access to this upside. Point is, insiders accumulate early positions. Wrappers like USVC, equity vehicles, and NASDAQ float rules force index funds and retirement accounts to buy at peaks, enabling exits. This farms ordinary capital for insiders, sharpens the K-shaped divide, and fuels visible backlash as the social promise of capitalism erodes. So that's kind of the interesting summary here. It's in the old days, companies would go public way earlier to raise capital. You could get a piece of it. And then if the US economy did good, again, you're in an index with the top companies, just like we talked about the index, it rotates. You would benefit with that. Well, nowadays, the best companies are staying private, and you're forced to buy them at peaks when they IPO. And so what's happening here, I think, is an argument against what Naval did and he's basically pointing it out and saying, look, they're seeking exit liquidity. This is their way of seeking exit liquidity because they've made so much money, they're ready to exit. And so I think it's an interesting topic. The comments tell a really interesting story as well, where some people are like, well, what if these companies are undervalued, right? If you look at companies that IPO'd years ago, people could have said the same thing. Oh, wow, they're so high valued. This is the top. But the markets just keep going up. Prophet says, you assume that these companies are expensive, but it's possible that they're cheap. It's a good point. But they are staying private way too long. I, for one, would rather buy OpenAI at 1 trillion than Bitcoin at 1 trillion. So what's your take? Is it is it a good thing that Naval is offering this? Or is this like their way of exit liquidity? Or is it to each their own? You guys decide for yourself.
I mean, I guess to each their own, I mean, look, this is an offering, doesn't mean someone has to buy it. Whoever buys it, it's on them at this point. It's on them at this point, I mean, I think it's obvious what they're trying to do. I think whether we want to label it exit liquidity, like, I think he just said that for like maybe engagement for the article. But I mean, it is true. They're looking for someone to hold the bag. But that's what markets do. That's what we do in markets, bro. We buy low, we sell high, and the chump that we're selling to, they're the ones that are left holding the bag once this whole thing collapses. And I don't know if you guys have seen the I forgot what the name of that chart is, but it's just like this Nostradamus-esque chart in markets where it's like 2026 is going to be like the year to sell assets at high prices. And I think that's exactly what these VCs are doing. Like they, you have these, look, SpaceX is going to be like, OpenAI is going to be $1 trillion, like, or Anthropic. I forget what the valuation for whatever some of these companies are, but between SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, they're all going to be IPOing at like ridiculous valuations. And I mean, who's actually going to buy at those high prices? And I agree with Prophet where he says, maybe they're cheap. Maybe they're not even this. We're assuming they're expensive, but maybe they're just cheap right now. But hey, they need somebody to buy. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I think it all just comes down to the U.S. has such stupid accredited investor laws. Like anyone should have access to these private companies right now, as it is, and that's the biggest issue. But I think I see both sides. Yeah, it's tough to say. I do think these VCs are seeking exit liquidity, though. It's right to call them farming exit liquidity, in my opinion. The AI bubble will cost us so many money in the future. It's crazy already that OpenAI made a contract with NVIDIA, giving NVIDIA money for the amount of chips NVIDIA couldn't produce in 100 years. Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, I do think at some point we see an AI bubble, but just like we had the .com bubble, the winners are going to be winners, the winners are going to be the Microsofts and Googles of our generation, right? 99% may never come back, but the ones that do come back, I think are going to be, game changing in terms of what they achieve. So, but
100%.
I thought it was a fascinating conversation. Nonetheless, it is coming up on 3:30. It's been a 3-hour stream now, and we've had, I think, all sides of the spectrum, so it's been good.
Yeah, I think we covered quite a bit today, chat. I mean, we did the interviews, we covered macro, some breaking news, some stuff happening on chain. We talked about some on-chain stuff happening. I don't think I went through the ETH on-chain stuff today, but keep an eye on ETH mainnet. I think some stuff is happening there as well. So keep an eye on stuff there. But yeah, I mean, we went through some ownership, had some ownership talk there with Dom, with the ACE model versus the SBV model versus the street model, and covering some updates with Kled and a few others. So look, it's been a massive stream today, awesome stream today. You want to go follow us at MCG Live for the schedule updates. We'll be posting a schedule over the weekend, and we'll be locking in a schedule for next week. So you want
banger schedule for next week already, by the way, boys. We are packed.
Really? Oh man. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Real quick too. I mean, I just gotta cover this because it happened while we were live.
Yeah.
This is all you, Chill.
Yeah, so Print just launched their upcoming community sale. So they said, we're excited to announce Print will be the first token sale powered by Sonar on Solana. I'd be interested to see if again their platform has ICO and Dutch auctions. So I want to see if there's going to be some sort of release of some of these features with this community sale type of thing, or is this going to be like this, since this is happening on their platform? So something to keep an eye on. But obviously, they're driving home some really good metrics here. 150 mil in volume, thousands of tokens and launched creators and traders. So looks like they're going to be launching Print through a community sale. There'll be 4% of the supply on sale for 50 cents at a 50 mil valuations. At a 50 mil valuation. All tokens sold through the sale will be 100% unlocked on TGE. That's crazy. So you're going to get immediate market pricing of this token as soon as TGE. There's no lockups. There's no, wait to sell or whatever. And looks like you need to KYC to participate on this as well, by the way, boys. So I think I wonder what the raise is going to look like with that. Yeah, with requiring KYC. Looks like their max commitment is 200K.
So a few things that jump out. 4% is not a lot. So either you want a lot in the community's hands, right? So either they're going to airdrop a lot, or they're just simply not going to have enough for the community. I wonder how much is locked up for VCs and team. Excuse me. Woo! Jeez. Excuse me, guys. 200 minimum, 200,000 maximum. Yeah, 4% is not a lot for community. So I'd like to see the full tokenomics. I think Thad's smart. I think he's a smart guy. So I would like to see a tokenomics pie chart that looks pretty good. But
I'm assuming a lot more is going to go to airdrops.
So maybe it's more plus EV rather than buying $200, using $200 and doing a bunch of transactions and growing your volume potentially, or doing both, right? If you have $10,000 you want to put in this, let's just do this for an experiment. If you have $10,000 you want to put in Printer at 50 million valuation, you think that's fair? Maybe take 5K, put it in Printer, and take the other 5K. I'm not saying wash trade, but take that 5K and start trading. Run volume up and down and up and down and up and down. Buy the tokens you like, sell the tokens you like, stake a little bit, kind of do everything the protocol offers. And I think you might be able to maximize the points you get. If 4% is for sale and they want to really get the community backing and they go and drop another 10% total, well, then you can assume that you're, the airdrop farming actually might go further than literally buying. So, and you actually, maybe end up keeping that money as well. So interesting thoughts there. How do we feel about the 50 million mark? For reference, MetaDAO is at 50 million.
I honestly think it's cheap. If I'm being honest, like, okay, we can. I don't know. We can talk about upside. Not really sure there, but what I can tell you is, 150 million volume in 7 days. 10%
Volume.
of pump funds volume in 7 days. Um, I can also tell you that they're now the top 3 launch pad in the space in 7 days. Pass Bonk in 7 days. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think 50 million is cheap. 50 million.
I
They're
think
definitely past MetaDAO in terms of launch pad statistics.
That's tough to say. That's tough to say.
Or
MetaDAO has a
I
lot of
should say,
sustained
and
coins.
I should audit that and say in recent volume, or I should say in volume and traders and launches.
Yeah.
Because that's
No,
essentially
I
what
would
you
say
want
probably
from
true.
a yeah, I think that's essentially what you want on on platforms like this. You want to see launches, you want to see trade opportunities, you want to see people make money, you want to see high volume, but you don't want it to be extractive, right? Like, it's still the wild activity that Pump Fund sees, like these just crazy deploys, random deploys. Some of them will do good, some of them won't. But ultimately, off of all of that activity, it all comes back to the ecosystem, right? It's the same as Pump Fund, just less extractive. Same Wild Wild West, crazy, meme coin space, but it's just less extractive.
So tough, man. 50 mils high, like 50 million's high to be buying in at when there's really no other launch pads that hold. Like Bonk is just Bonk. It's got the Bonk token. Actually, I guess you could say the representation of the launch pad is um what's the token that gets a piece of all emissions, a piece of all fees?
Mm,
What's the name of that?
Piece of all fees,
Yeah, for the Bonk ecosystem. I forget the name of their
isn't it?
token.
Isn't it Bonk? I thought.
No, Bonk gets some, and then there's another one that the creator of Bonk made that I think 25% or something of all, or I forget the exact number. A piece of all the fees Bonk makes goes towards that token. I wonder what that's trading at. Probably nothing. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
probably
tough to
not.
say because, like, what's the upside? 50 million, you know, in this market, it's like if you get to 100 million for a launch pad, that's really incredible. Um, it's I don't know. I think it's a tough decision. I don't think it's so easy, to be honest, where it's like 50 mil free upside, because it could easily, these launch pads could easily go down to 20 mil, right? So interesting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, we'll see. I think 50 mil is like fair value with decent upside. I think a launch pad like this, um, especially if things continue on, I think it just provides just more and more upside. But I think it's fair. I don't think it's overvalued. I don't think it's undervalued. I think that's fair value for what they're seeing out the gate. I mean, yes. Are there questions around? Are there questions around continuity? Like, is this activity going to continue over the coming weeks and months? Is the volume going to be up over the coming weeks and months? Are some of the launches that are up now, are they going to stay that way? Yes, there are questions, but I think for what I'm seeing right now and the trajectory, I think 50 million is fair value.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like the infrastructure it's built on, Meteora is at 85 million, right? So
Yep.
Meteora is kind of a piece of MetaDAO. It's a piece of printer. It's a piece of bags. It's a bit of all of
And
that
that's
stuff.
undervalued. And
This
that's
is
undervalued.
undervalued. It's at 85 million. This is significantly undervalued. But again, it kind of tells you like what can the ceiling be, right, for printer? What's the upside? If it gets up to 100 million, it flips Meteora, which is what it's
I don't
built
think we
on.
can I don't think we can see I don't think we can carve out upside without knowing the full tokenomics. How much is going to an airdrop? Is it going to be buybacks and burns? Is there a staking
Right.
mechanism? Like, I think there are a lot more questions that we have that, I just can't really answer the upside question.
No, it's a good point. It's hard to call right here. But all right, nonetheless, boys, we're gonna call it there. We love y'all. Keep it P. See you next week. We got a banger schedule, so tap in.
GG's, follow at MCG Live. Trade on Trojan, bottom left corner of your screen, or go to trojan.com/@MCG. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Have a great weekend.
Peace.